After the college entrance exams, my childhood friend and rival handed me a note. On it, written in English, was, "Nobody like you." Even a bad student like me could translate those few simple words. No one likes you. I was so furious I tore the paper to shreds. The very next day, I left for abroad. Only later did I realize that sentence could also be translated as, "No one is like you." So after returning to the country, the first thing I did was go find my childhood friend. But that damn girl wouldn't answer her phone. I angrily burst through the door. Everyone in the room immediately looked over. Gu Qingyan's lackey smiled and greeted me, saying, "Are you looking for Sister Qingyan? She went to the restroom. She'll be back in a bit." Qijin looked at me with a look of pure annoyance. "Don't tell me. You're Qingyan's new boyfriend. So Qingyan dumped me because she set her eyes on you. Other than having slightly fairer skin, I don't see how you're any better than me." As soon as he sat, the girls present burst out laughing. Their sharp eyes could all see that this newcomer was way more handsome. Only the thick-skinned Qi Zhen, who thought being the heartthrob of the second middle school, made him peerlessly handsome. He didn't even consider that if he weren't Gu Qinghan's boyfriend, how could he have been chosen as the new generation's heartthrob? I immediately scowled. I hate it most when people comment on my fair skin. No one told me that in America, because American skin is already fair. I looked at Qi Zhen and said, "Can you just shut up? I didn't come here to see you. What are you yelling about?" Qi Zhen glared at me, annoyed. "Who the hell do you think you are, to dare growl at me like that?" He was already extremely frustrated. Gu Qinghan had only dated him for a week before demanding a breakup. Even the reason for the breakup was totally arbitrary, and just a few days later, rumors spread that she had a new boyfriend. Supposedly, he was very handsome. He had to save face somehow. As for me, I didn't want to talk to the guy in front of me. I just wanted to find Gu Qinghan. I asked the lackey standing nearby, "Where is the ladies' room? Lead the way." The lackey was stunned, his face full of confusion. "You want to go into the women's restroom?" I gave him an annoyed glare. "Didn't you say Gu Qinghan went to the toilet? If I don't go into the ladies' room, am I supposed to find her in the men's?" Meanwhile, Qi Zhen was about to explode with rage. This person dared to look down on him like that. He was the heartthrob of the second middle school, after all. This man was being so arrogant right in front of him. Not to mention, he was Qinghan's new boyfriend. The more Qi Zhen thought, the angrier he got. He started ranting incessantly. "Why are you ignoring me? Look at me. I'm talking to you. Hey, are you listening?" Getting no response, Qi Zhen stood up in a fury. He reached out and shoved me hard, because the lights were quite dim. I was caught off guard for a moment and took a stumble from his push. Seizing the moment before falling, I reached out and grabbed Qi Zhen's pant leg and pulled his pants right down. Qi Zhen's face turned beet red. He scrambled to pull his pants back up, but that embarrassing moment just now had been seen by everyone. Someone couldn't help but laugh out loud. Qi Zhen couldn't take it anymore and roared, "You pretty boy, I'm not letting you get away with this." I gave him a calm, indifferent glance. My eyes said it all. "Come at me if you've got the guts." Just then, the door was pushed open. A cold female voice rang out. "What's going on here?" I turned around as soon as I heard that familiar voice. Looking coldly at the person entering, I spoke. "Gu Qinghan." Gu Qinghan stared intently at the man before her for a moment. Then she exclaimed in surprise, "Jiang Yuchen, why are you here?" I chuckled twice and walked toward her. "Not bad. I thought you'd forgotten about me." I walked up right in front of her. Then I gave her shoulder a playful smack. The onlookers all gasped in shock. Good heavens, this guy actually dared to hit Gu Qinghan. Gu Qinghan narrowed her beautiful eyes. She slightly tilted her body to dodge. "What's wrong? You just got back and you're already this angry." The crowd grew even more astonished. Not only was Gu Qinghan not angry, but her voice even carried a hint of doting. I said crossly, "Do you have any idea what I went through to find you? The amount of trouble I faced." Gu Qinghan reached out and brushed the dust off my clothes. "Jiang Yichen, did you go abroad just to haul bricks? Why are you so covered in dust?" I pouted. "Isn't it all because of you?" Gu Qinghan blinked in confusion. "What does that have to do with me? I only just found out you were back in the country." I glanced at Qi Zhen nearby and said, "Your boyfriend is quite something. I just came in to find you and he already picked a fight with me." "Gu Qinghan, you really have a great eye for men." Gu Qinghan has known me since we were in diapers. As many years as she's lived, that's how long we've been together. How could she not understand what I was implying? Her gaze immediately turned sharp and cold. She looked at Qi Zhen and asked coldly, "Qi Zhen, who gave you the guts? How dare you lay a hand on him?" Qi Zhen, who was so aggressive just moments ago, now looked like a withered eggplant, especially under Gu Qinghan's current glare. He knew he was in deep trouble. "Qinghan, let me explain. It's not what he says. It was because his attitude was too arrogant. Plus, he dared to call you by your full name. That's so disrespectful to you. I just lost my temper for a second. While Ki-zhen scrambled to invent crimes for me, Gu Qinghan let out a faint smirk. Her slender, jade-like hand wrapped around my arm. She said to Ki-zhen, "Whatever he does is because I allow it. He can call me whatever he wants. Since when was it any of your business?" Hearing this, Ki-zhen's face turned shades of green and white. He had a crush on Gu Qinghan since middle school, so he's been watching her all these years, but he'd never heard of her liking any man. Yet the man standing before him was clearly that exception. This was a bitter pill Ki-zhen just couldn't swallow. "Qinghan, I really didn't know. I didn't know you two were so close. I'm sorry." Gu Qinghan detests that wronged puppy look on guys, so she looked away with a face full of disgust. I found it annoying too, but I could see the guy was quite clever, and he definitely understood Gu Qinghan well. To know that playing the victim was his best move. I spoke up, still sounding displeased. "Gu Qinghan, deal with this yourself." Even if I didn't say anything, Gu Qinghan wouldn't let me be mistreated like this, especially since this was her turf. She gave Ki-zhen a glacial stare. "Tell me, how should I handle you?" Ki-zhen felt a chill run down his spine under that gaze. As if making a decision, he took a deep breath. He raised his hand and slapped himself hard across the face. "I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have acted without understanding the situation." Immediately after, tears began to flow. He sobbed as he gave himself 2 more slaps. His apology actually seemed quite sincere. Hearing the sound of those slaps, I thought it was enough. "Fine, stop hitting yourself." Then I turned to Gu Qinghan and said, "Let's go. Come back with me." Gu Qinghan spoke to everyone in the room. "If you want to keep partying, go ahead. If not, get lost." In leaving. "Oh, where's my phone?" The lackey hurriedly handed over the phone with both hands. "Sister Qinghan, here is your phone." I remembered she hadn't picked up my call earlier. A surge of resentment washed over me. "Gu Qinghan, I called you before, and you didn't even recognize my voice. Plus, I didn't have money to pay for the ride. I wanted to call you for help, but you didn't even answer. If you're not going to use that phone, just give it to me." I reached out to snatch it away, but Gu Qinghan was too fast. With a swift move, she dodged me. She tucked the phone into her own pocket. She linked her arm in mine and walked out. Oh, it was so noisy in that room. It's normal that I couldn't hear your voice clearly. What's the deal with you anyway? Suddenly coming back to the country. And so late at night too. Did you have something super important to tell me? Gu Qinghan was full of suspicion. Even when I came home for the Lunar New Year, I was never this eager to find her. She smiled meaningfully and said, "Yi Chen, did you suddenly realize that you're in love with me? Searching for me so desperately, even picking a fight with Ki-zhen. Tell me, are you planning to confess your love?" I flashed her a smile. Then I reached out and pinched the flesh on her waist. Soft and smooth. Felt pretty good. Gu Qinghan gritted her teeth in pain. "You big jerk. Can't you even take a joke? Did you lose your sense of humor after a few years abroad?" I snorted in response. "I'm in a bad mood tonight, teasing me when I'm feeling down. You brought it on yourself." After leaving the bar, Gu Qinghan, still clinging to my arm, asked, "Seriously, why were you looking for me?" "To open the door, of course. I don't have the keys to your place. Most importantly, your door can't even be opened without a key, so I had no choice but to find you." Gu Qinghan looked puzzled. "My mom and the others are at home. If you call, someone will open the door for you. They probably even line up to welcome you. We grew up together since we were kids. Gu Qinghan's house is basically my second home." Gu Qinghan suddenly realized something was off. Her beautiful eyes narrowed. "Which house are you talking about? Don't tell me it's the apartment I'm living in right now." I nodded. "Exactly. Why else would I be looking for you? Are you stupid?" I looked at her as if she were an idiot. The question was clearly redundant. Why would I need to find her if I were going to the main Gu residence? Gu Qinghan's expression froze. She asked suspiciously, "Why are you coming to my apartment? It's so late now. Even if you needed a place to stay, you could have just asked my mom. Why look for me?" Although she had a vague inkling that something was up, she didn't want to confirm that feeling was right. She'd rather believe her intuition was wrong. I looked at her, my lips curling into a smirk. "Seems you don't know you've been played by your own mother. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm a victim too. I understand how you feel." Gu Qinghan grew frustrated. Her face screamed, "What the hell? Seriously, what is going on?" Gu Qinghan led me back to that high-end apartment. After she scanned her fingerprint to open the door, I followed her inside. Looking at the security system on the door, I said, "Oh right, register my fingerprint too, so I can come and go as I please. Gu Qinghen didn't expect me to demand that. She crossed her arms and glared at me. For what? So you can. Enter my home whenever you want. I crossed my arms just like her. Because from today on, I'm living here. If you don't register me, how am I supposed to get in? Or do you want to be my personal door opener? Gu Qinghen frowned. Who said you could stay here? Did you get my permission? This was her private domain. Even if I was her childhood friend, it didn't mean I was welcome here, invading her personal space. I spread my hands. You think I want this? Your mother is the one making me stay. Gu Qinghen finally realized something was seriously wrong, remembering what I'd started to say on the way. What did you mean when you said my mom was plotting against me? Is it related to this? I nodded and made an announcement. Because you and I are about to get engaged, so they are forcing us to live together, to nurture our feelings beforehand. Gu Qinghen thought she had misheard. Her eyes went wide. What did you say? You and I, getting engaged. What on earth? Anyway, that's how it is. Go ask your parents for the specific details. I'm too lazy to explain. I'm exhausted right now. I'm going to take a shower, then sleep. Bye-bye. After saying that, I yawned, waved at her, and dragged my suitcase into the room. Hey, explain this clearly to me. Thud. Door slammed shut right in front of Gu Qinghen. It almost hit her proud nose. She pounded on the door and shouted, Zhang Yichen, get out here right now. No time. I opened the door, holding a change of clothes. Leaning against the doorframe, I looked at her and said, I'm really sleepy right now. Let's talk tomorrow, okay? Having said that, I brushed past her to the bathroom. Gu Qinghen looked at me helplessly. Shed noticed the exhaustion on my face earlier. She let it go for now. The next morning, I had a great sleep. Hearing noise outside, I woke up. I tossed back the covers and got out of bed. Opening the door, I saw Gu Qinghen. Gu Qinghen, I'm hungry. Is breakfast ready? Gu Qinghen finished pouring a glass of water in the kitchen. She answered in a lazy voice, There is no breakfast. No cooking is done in this house. If you want to eat, go out and buy it yourself. I frowned, annoyed. No breakfast? Then what about me? I'm so hungry. I'm going to starve. Gu Qinghen watched my childish performance and said, The fridge is full of drinks and milk. There are biscuits and bread in the cupboard. Sort it out yourself. Just grab a snack. Then I'll call home and tell my mom to pick you up. I hurriedly rolled off the sofa. While running to the fridge, I said, Go back where? Didn't I tell you last night? I'm staying at your place from now on. I was completely at ease, just like I was in my own home. I casually took out some milk and started drinking. Gu Qinghen pouted. This engagement thing. I won't agree to it. I shrugged and said, If you don't agree, then go tell your parents and your grandfather. It's not up to me. She frowned. Grandfather too. Your mom said, You should go home this weekend. She'll explain everything. Sure enough, with a direct order from her grandfather. Gu Qinghen had no choice but to obey. She scratched her head in frustration. I'm not waiting for the weekend. I'll go back with you tonight and clear this up. Whatever. I don't care. I spread my hands. I tossed the empty milk carton into the trash. After washing my hands, I said to her, You're going to school, right? Wait for me. I'll just brush my teeth and wash my face. Gu Qinghen looked at me suspiciously. You want to go to school with me? Yeah, because starting today, I've transferred to your school. I leaned against the bathroom doorframe. I flashed her a bright smile. Qinghen looked like she was about to go crazy. If this guy came to her school, then her queen bee image would definitely be ruined. I didn't care one bit. I headed straight into the bathroom. My humming could still be heard from the living room. After I finished washing up and getting dressed, we finally left the apartment. After less than 10 minutes of driving, we were almost at Halen High School. Since it was an elite school, the campus was massive. The grand gates could be seen from a distance, a few hundred meters away. Sitting in the car, I shouted, Stop, stop, stop. Stop right here, and getting out. Gu Qinghen told the driver to stop. She asked in confusion, We're not at school yet. Why are you getting out now? I had already hopped out with my backpack. Then I smiled at her. I'm not walking into school with you. Otherwise, I'll definitely attract too much attention. I prefer to keep a low profile. You go ahead. Bye-bye. I'll go grab some breakfast. Gu Qinghen stared coldly at my departing figure. Countless boys would die to share a car ride with her. Yet this guy acted like it was a chore. Watching Gu Qinghen's car disappear, I looked around. I spotted a bakery. I chose my favorite matcha cake and also bought a cup of soy milk. I'll take this one, I said, pointing to the last piece of matcha cake in the display case. The clerk came over to take the cake and put it into a small box to package it. I reached out to take it, but the clerk looked at me apologetically. I'm sorry. This last piece has already been purchased. Please choose something else. I felt a bit annoyed. Who bought it exactly? I clearly saw it first. The clerk was also in a tight spot. She pointed to a girl standing by the register. It's that girl over there. She already paid for it, so I'm truly sorry. Our chocolate and strawberry cakes are also very popular. Would you like to try one? No thanks. I shook my head in refusal. I walked over, stepping up beside the girl. I lightly tapped her on the shoulder. Excuse me, could you possibly let me have the matcha cake? I can be quite stubborn. Once I set my heart on something, I don't want to change it. I didn't expect that when she turned around, she'd be such a stunning beauty. Her appearance was fresh and ethereal. She clearly looked like a well-bred young lady, and she was exactly my type. Hello, can I help you? Mukshu looked at me and spoke. Her voice was indescribably beautiful. It was definitely the kind of voice any guy would fall for. Just hearing it made my heart race. Plus, I'm a total sucker for beautiful voices. I couldn't help but feel a bit moved, especially since her aura was so refined. This matcha cake is the very last one. Could you possibly give it up to me? I flashed my trademark smile. If Gu Qingyin were here to see me like this, she'd definitely roll her eyes in disgust, but... Su Mushue replied indifferently. I'm sorry, but this was bought for someone else, so I can't let you have it. I immediately deflated, certain that she was buying it for a boyfriend. She was so thoughtful toward her boyfriend, even helping him get breakfast. This kind of girl is hard to find. All right then, I won't force you. I'll just buy something else. The thought of this beauty already having a boyfriend made my mood drop even further. I started to walk away dejectedly. Su Mushue's gaze followed me. Perhaps she felt a bit guilty. She couldn't help but speak up. I've heard the chestnut cake here is also good. You could try that. Hearing her say that made her seem even more gentle and considerate. All right, I'll give it a try. I turned around and gave her a slight smile. I ordered a chestnut cream cake from the store staff. It was packed, and I held it in my hand. Then I ran a few steps to catch up with her, even though she already had a boyfriend, but I just transferred to this school. Knowing a top student isn't a bad thing, so I shamelessly went to introduce myself. Hi. I smiled brightly and cheerfully, a smile as radiant as sunshine. Are you a student at High Lam too? I'm a new transfer student today. Su Mushu glanced at me, faced with such a bright and happy smile. It's hard for anyone to refuse. Yes, she replied softly. Then she continued walking forward. I followed her footsteps. The two of us walked side by side. What grade are you in? 12th grade. She seemed a bit regretful, pouting her lips. I smiled back. Actually, I should be counted as 11th grade. After all, I couldn't be in 12th grade. Su Mushu looked at me confused. You don't even know what grade you're in. I scratched my head awkwardly. Actually, I transferred back from the US. In the US, I was in 10th grade. But the adults think I'm very smart, so they'll probably arrange for me to be in 11th grade. Because I knew Gu Qingyin was in 11th grade. Gu Qinghin's mother wanted us to live together to nurture our feelings. She'd probably put me in the same class as her, even though I was in 10th grade in the US. I think handling the domestic curriculum won't be a problem at all. Su Mushu looked at my confident expression. She couldn't help but cover her mouth and giggle. The two talked as they reached the school gate. Just as they were about to enter together, the guard stopped me. You can't go in. Class is about to start. Outsiders aren't allowed in the school. I stared wide-eyed at the guard at the gate. I'm a student here. I just transferred today. But no matter how I explained, the other party still refused to let me through, looking at me with more and more suspicion. I was thinking whether to mention Gu Qinghan when I heard Su Mushue beside me say he really did transfer here today, so he doesn't have a student ID yet. He's going to the academic affairs office to register. I can vouch for him. The guard recognized her. He nodded. I know you. You're Su Mushue. All right, for your sake, I'll let him in. Su Mushue nodded politely and said thank you, but I was still unhappy. Although I was grateful for Su Mushue's help, the guard's attitude was annoying. He still looked at me like I was a thief. I consider myself a radiant person. There's no way I should be suspected like that. Thanks, but I need to communicate a bit more, less than greater than, I said to Su Mushu. Less than greater than. Then I took out my phone and called Gu Qinghan. Less than greater than. Gu Qinghan's lazy voice answered. Less than greater than. What's the matter? I couldn't help but say a bit angrily. I was blocked by the guard. He won't let me in. He doesn't believe I am a transfer student. Ha ha ha. Gu Qinghan's laughter came through. Her reaction made me even angrier. Just as I was about to yell her name, Gu Qinghan stopped laughing. She said softly, I can hear your grievance. Wait a moment. It'll be resolved for you immediately. I suddenly heard a boy's voice next to her. It sounded like he was asking who was on the phone. The voice was very deep and warm, the kind that girls find hard to resist. Who are you with? I asked. My tone was a bit angry. I'm outside feeling wronged, while she's doing great, flirting with some other boy. I don't know if Gu Qinghan didn't hear me, or if she heard but didn't want to answer, so she hung up. Hey Gu Qinghan, I yelled angrily into the phone. Su Mushua looked at me worriedly and asked what was wrong. Are you okay? I replied somewhat dejectedly. Someone's choosing romance over friendship. But before a minute had passed, the guard's phone rang. When he saw the caller ID, he was clearly startled. He answered with a respectful attitude. Then he looked at me in surprise. He hung up. His attitude changed 180 degrees. He gave me a fawning smile. I'm truly sorry. This was a misunderstanding. It's my fault. You may enter now. The principal is waiting for you. Now I was satisfied. I walked in with my head held high. Su Mushua followed me full of doubt and asked, Who exactly are you? Even mobilizing the principal. I giggled. I held up a finger and wagged it at her. I said mysteriously, That's a secret. Once you get to know me better, I'll tell you. Su Mushua smiled slightly. Is this your way of getting to know me? I don't just befriend anyone, you know. Are you a top student? Top students are very picky about friends. I showed off a bit, smiling very happily, completely forgetting about Gu Qinghan choosing romance over friendship. Why do you think I'm a top student? She glanced at me curiously. I raised an eyebrow and smiled, because I'm smart. Right, a guard said he recognized you earlier. Are you very famous at school too? I guess so, she said softly, but she didn't explain in detail. It seems she didn't want to brag. But I wasn't satisfied. I quickly pressed for answers. Is it because you're the school belle? Or because you're always number one in the whole school? I think. It's definitely both, right? Su Mushua replied, I'm not the school belle. I looked at her in surprise. If you're not the school belle, if you don't count as the school belle, then wait. Could the school belle be Gu Qinghan? Hearing me say that name. Su Mushua narrowed her eyes. You know her. I didn't notice the change in her expression, and enthusiastically asked further. She's very charismatic at school, right? I heard she has many boyfriends, a famous figure too. Even though you're in different grades, you probably know each other. I know her, but we're not close. Su Mushua's voice was a bit cold. She looked at me, with a hint of probing. By the way, do you like her too? I snorted. I really don't have any interest in her at all. Su Mushua was a bit surprised. When she heard me mention Gu Qinghan earlier, she thought I came here because of her too. But now she looked into my eyes seriously, not like other boys when she's mentioned. Gu Qinghan doesn't get that infatuated look. I smiled at Su Mushua and said, I would never like someone like her. If I had to choose, I think you're better than her. Doesn't she just rely on having money and being pretty? She's aggressive with everyone. Whoever likes her is unlucky. It was Su Mushua's first time hearing someone say that. She looked at me in surprise, as if I were an alien. When she saw me acting disgusted, she couldn't help but burst out laughing. My eyes darted around cleverly. Taking the opportunity, I said, Right, forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jiang Yichen. Su Mushua smiled and said, her attitude toward me became much friendlier. I quickly tried to get closer, saying, So, what class are you in? I'm not familiar with the school. If there's something I don't understand, can I find you? Actually, my thoughts were very simple. I just wanted to be friends with her, a top student who is both beautiful and smart. Plus, my biggest hobby is making friends, especially friends who are capable and smart. Su Mushua nodded. Sure, I'm in class 1 of the 12th grade. I looked around the almost deserted campus. Not a soul in sight. Everyone must be in class. So I said to her that I won't bother your studies anymore. I'm going to register at the principal's office. Let's hang out when you're free. Bye-bye. Having said that, I hurried toward the administration building. Su Mushua stood behind, watching my back. Her cold eyes gained a bit of warmth. Arriving at the principal's office, I met the principal. The principal's attitude toward me was very enthusiastic. As soon as he saw me enter, he even took out drinks to offer and asked if I wanted to eat some fruit. I sat on the sofa with my legs crossed, eating snacks and fruit. It wasn't long before I saw a woman enter. Wearing black-rimmed glasses, she looked very serious. Principal, what can I do for you? The female teacher knocked respectfully and entered. The principal immediately put on a serious face, solemnly introducing me to her. This is the new transfer student, Jiang Yichen. He previously studied at a prestigious prep school in the U.S. His academic performance is outstanding, so I've assigned him to Class 1. Wait a moment and lead him to the classroom. He will be a key focus of our school's cultivation from now on. Understand the meaning behind the principal's words. How could the female teacher not understand? She stiffly nodded and said she understood, and she led me away. The principal even personally saw me to the door, smiling radiantly as he sent me off. Soon I followed the teacher to the classroom door. Seeing the class sign saying 10th grade, my face was full of question marks. Am I not in 11th grade? Ms. Wei explained. Jiang, our domestic curriculum is faster than abroad. If you go to 11th grade, you might not be able to keep up with the pace. Fine. I thought about my grades but didn't push it. After all, I came back to study, with a mindset of just having fun, so what grade I'm in doesn't really matter. Ms. Wei led me in and said to the students, "This is the new transfer student, Jiang Yuchen. Everyone, please give him a warm welcome. Next, I'll let Jiang introduce himself." I stood by the podium and smiled brightly at everyone. "Hi everyone, I'm Jiang Yuchen. Male, interests include girls. I hope you'll look after me from now on." Hearing an introduction like that, the classmates all laughed. Quite a few people started whispering, "This boy is so handsome, right?" Exactly. His skin is so fair. The position of our class as most handsome boy is at risk. What is Shen Jie compared to him? He doesn't even have half this guy's aura. Suddenly the girls in the class were in a commotion, murmuring and noisily telling me to sit next to them. I smiled and looked around the room, wanting to see if there were any beauties. Of course, I had to choose to sit next to a beauty. At least it's eye candy. Ms. Wei also said, "Jiang, who do you want to sit with? As long as the other party agrees, it's fine." As soon as the teacher said those words, it immediately made all the girls present excited. I thought for a moment and then asked, "Who's the prettiest in our class?" What I didn't expect was, everyone was stunned upon hearing this. Then they all looked toward a certain spot, but their expressions were all a bit strange. I was too lazy to notice other people's expressions. What's the point? Following the class's gaze, I looked over too, found it was the last row by the window. Both seats were empty. Could the prettiest beauty be absent today? Of course, I had to pick the prettiest. So I smiled and walked over to sit down. Also said to the teacher, Ms. Wei, "I'll sit here." Ms. Wei's expression was also a bit strange. She awkwardly said if I liked it, then sit there. She tapped the podium with her ruler, telling the students to be quiet. "All right, look after your new classmate. Everyone should be united and caring." Got it. Now let's continue with the lesson. But at this moment, who had the mind to listen to the lecture? The girls all craned their necks to look back, while the boys looked on with scrutiny and comparison. The girl in the seat in front of me turned around, smiling fawningly. "Jiang Yuchen, you don't have textbooks yet. I'll let you borrow mine." Saying that, she placed a crumpled book down. Textbook was placed in front of me. Looking at the dirty textbook, not knowing what was stuck on it, I could only say with a forced smile, "No need, you use it. I'll just listen casually. It's okay. I'll share with my deskmate." She was being kind. I couldn't bear to embarrass her. I had to accept it with an awkward smile. This period was a foreign language class. I can't speak for other subjects, but my foreign language is absolutely great. After all, I studied in the US for several years, so to me the feeling was like an elementary student attending class. Extremely bored, I let out a yawn. The girl in front leaned in again. "Ichin, do you also find it hard to understand? Why do you think we chat instead? I understand it just fine, but the teaching is just too boring, so I don't want to listen." On the contrary, this girl, even such simple foreign language she doesn't understand. I couldn't help but be surprised. My heart was also curious. I thought class 1 was supposed to be the best class. Couldn't help but ask the girl, "What kind of class is class 1? Is it the worst class? How are the classes divided?" "No, our class 1 is the best class." I couldn't help my expression. It was completely a look of not believing her words. The girl scratched her head, said awkward, "Actually, it's like this. Class 1 is either the best performing or the wealthiest, while the other classes are normal. So the worst students are also in class 1. There are also many gang members inside. Be sure to be careful from now on." I suddenly understood. So that's how it is. Suddenly felt this girl was a good person, even reminding me of these things, so my attitude became a bit better. "Then you must be very wealthy too. You don't look like you have good grades." The girl was a bit shy. To save face, she explained, "I'm just not good at foreign languages, but I'm great at sports." I couldn't help laughing. Is being good at sports something for a girl to be that proud of? "Jiang Yichen, I've found you're quite sharp-tongued. I was almost fooled by your looks." This is already called sharp-tongued. You haven't seen true sharp-tonguedness yet. "Right, my name is Chu Menyao. If anything happens, you can find me for help." Chu Menyao patted her chest and said, "I found her quite pleasing to the eye. Earlier, when I was looking for beauties from the podium, she was also one of the little beauties. Didn't expect her to be quite an interesting person too." I kept my head down chatting, not paying attention to the podium. The teacher's face was getting darker and darker. "That new student over there, translate the next passage." The teacher suddenly called a name. I didn't even know she was calling me. still kept my head down chatting, until the girl across the aisle reached out and nudged me. "Jiang Yichin, the teacher called you." I reacted and looked up, faced Ms. Wee's angry gaze and asked, "May I ask what's the matter?" The teacher's expression was truly colorful. Blue, purple, all sorts of colors. It was even changing colors. It seemed she was quite angry. "Jiang Yichin, the second passage in the book, you translated." I shrugged innocently. "But teacher, I don't have a textbook. If you don't have one, borrow from a friend." Clearly, the teacher was angry. It wasn't going to be easy to brush off. Xu Mengyao looked at me with some sympathy and gave her book to me again, whispering, "Just say whatever. She won't dare do anything to you." A confident smile played on my lips again. I casually took the book and flipped to the specified passage. Then fluent English flowed from my mouth, even with a bit of an American accent, completely different from the teacher's style of English. It was so good that my classmates were stunned. The teacher also stared at me in a daze. Her face became even more unsightly, as if she had been insulted. "Teacher, may I sit down?" I asked with a smile. The teacher's face turned pale. She helplessly said to sit down. Xu Menyao looked at me with a face full of admiration and said, "Jian Yuqin, you're so amazing. How is your English so good?" That voice was incredible. If I didn't see your face, it'd think it was a foreigner speaking. I innocently blinked and said, "Didn't I tell you? I'm back from the US. Previously, I studied at the best prestigious prep school in America." "Ah, the eavesdropping ghoul in America." "Ah," the eavesdropping classmates exclaim in surprise. After class, I felt bored, so I wanted to go find Gu Qinghan to see what kind of happy days she was living. Walking to the 11th grade building, without even thinking, I went directly to class 1. Based on the information Chu Mengyao just gave, this is what I deduced. Although I don't know Gu Qinghan's grades, but seeing her at the bar all day, her grades probably aren't that good. But the Gu family is a super elite family, insanely wealthy. Needless to say, she must be in class 1. Moreover, someone as arrogant as Gu Qinghan would absolutely not allow herself to not be in the best class. I found class 1 very quickly. I poked my head in through the back door. Sure enough, I saw that annoying Gu Qinghan. Sitting next to her was also a boy. The two were talking and laughing. After all, between me and her now, there's an engagement relationship. It's normal to be a little jealous. I defended myself in my heart, and not jealous because I like Gu Qinghan. I'm just jealous in my capacity as her fiancé. This person is too much. Clearly knowing it's my first day and I don't know anything. She didn't even come to find me, but was busy flirting with some other boy. It simply makes me die of anger. My eyes darted around cleverly. I smiled wickedly. She was the one who was unkind first. Don't blame me for being unrighteous. Just wait and see. I retreated to the stairwell, casually pulled a girl aside, smiled at her. Using a deep and gentle voice, I said, "Excuse me, classmate. Could you help me go to class 1 and call Ju Qinghan? Say her husband is looking for her." "Thank you." The girl was a bookish young lady wearing glasses. Startled by my words, she nodded blankly. "Okay, I'll go right now." I hid around the corner of the wall to peek. Then I saw the bookish girl enter class 1. As soon as she entered, she said directly, "Ju Qinghan, your husband is looking for you." The originally noisy and bustling classroom suddenly went silent, as if you could hear a pin drop. You can just imagine everyone's expression with their eyes bulging out of their heads. Standing outside the door, I couldn't help but cover my mouth and giggle. A few seconds later, I saw it. Yu Qinghan walked over with a dark expression on her face, with a look that said, "I knew it was you." She came right up and questioned me. "I knew it was you. You're doing this on purpose to mess with me, aren't you?" I crossed my arms and argued back at Gu Qinghan. "You were so busy chatting with those guys that you didn't even notice me. Just you wait. When we go back to the Gu house tonight, I'm going to tell your mother everything that I had to deal with at school today." Gu Qinghan let out a helpless sigh. "Young Master Jiang, what exactly do you want from me?" I then pointed to my cheek. "It's very simple. Come here right now, and give me a kiss on the cheek, or let me kiss you. Hurry up." Gu Qinghan narrowed her beautiful eyes. She didn't even need to turn around to know that behind her, quite a few people had run out to spy on us. They had just heard that her husband came looking for her, and everyone around was absolutely stunned, dying of curiosity about what was going on. If we were to do something intimate right now, less than greater than, it would confirm that that's my husband claim, and she couldn't have less than greater than. In broad daylight and in front of everyone. "You're a grown man with no shame, but I still have a reputation to protect." She found an excuse to refuse. I was furious. This girl actually dared to disobey me. "Gu Qinghan, you've changed. You weren't like this before. Whatever I told you to do, you never used to refuse me. Now you're ignoring me just because of some other guys. Fine then. All these years of feelings cut off just like that. In the past, whatever I asked Gu Qinghan to do, even if she said no with her mouth, she would still follow my requests behind the scenes. So seeing Gu Qinghan like this now, I felt a constant sense of unease. It felt like a heavy stone was blocking my heart. I won't force you anymore. Suit yourself. I finished speaking cold and turned around to leave. Gu Qinghan let out a sigh, stepped forward, and wrapped her arms around my waist, and then leaned naturally into my chest. Her fresh scent wafted into my nose. I instinctively stroked her hair. It felt just as wonderful as it always had. After a while, Gu Qinghan pulled away and said, "All right, we've hugged already. Now get back to class. I'll come find you for lunch." I acted smugly, as if I was just using her. "No, I'm not having lunch with you. I met a top-tier beauty today. I'm planning to go eat with her in a bit." Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes. "A beauty? The most beautiful girl in the whole school is standing right in front of you. You won't eat with me, but you'll go eat with another woman?" I gave a chuckle and said purposefully, "I don't feel like going with you this noon. I'll favor you tonight instead. Let's go." Gu Qinghan knitted her slender brows, watching my back as I walked away, seemingly lost in thought. The next period was literature. This class was basically just nap time for me. In contrast to me sitting in front, Chu Mengyao was studying quite seriously. I finally slept until the end of class. I let out a long stretch. Sleeping like that was so uncomfortable. I wonder if I can bring a pillow next time. My neck is about to snap. Chu Mengyao turned around to look at me, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. "Do you have any idea how soundly you were sleeping? I almost caught the sleepiness from you. Class is finally over. I'm starving. Let's go eat. Sleep well, then eat well." "Jang, classmate, were you born in the year of the pig?" The two of us had been chatting all morning, and we were already as close as old friends. "It's noon already. Of course we have to eat. Don't tell me you're not going to eat. Hurry up and lead me to the cafeteria. Your treat." Once I get to know someone, I stop being formal. Besides, I knew Chu Mengyao was from a wealthy family, so treating me to one meal wouldn't cost her much. Fine, fine. My treat, my treat. Chu Mengyao cleared her deck and stood up with me. Right at that moment, I suddenly remembered Su Muxue. "Oh right, I still need to find someone. You know the school better, so you lead the way. Where is class 1, grade 3? Before Chu Mengyao could even react, I had already grabbed her wrist and pulled her out of the classroom. I didn't have time to notice everyone's bewildered gazes. I was afraid that if I was late, Su Muxue would have already left. Chu Mengyao looked at my hand holding hers, her expression looking a bit strange. She asked, "Who are you looking for in class 1, grade 3? I said with a grin, "Her name is Su Muxue. Do you know her?" Chu Mengyao looked astonished. "Su Muxue," she exclaimed in surprise. "The person you're looking for is her. What's the relationship between you two?" I gave a mischievous smile. If I said we were in a relationship, would you believe me? Chu Menyao's eyes widened in shock. "No way, so her secret boyfriend turns out to be you. So she really does have a boyfriend." Hearing that, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of regret in my heart. Chu Mengyao gave me an annoyed glare. "So you were tricking me. You actually made me think you were her boyfriend for a second. Hurry up and tell me about this secret boyfriend of Su Mushua's. Is he a student at our school?" Chu Mengyao shrugged. "I don't know. Rumor has it she's had a boyfriend for many years, but other than that, no one knows anything. That's so mysterious." I found it hard to believe. An outstanding girl like Su Mushue must have countless boys pursuing her. How could she hide a boyfriend with all that attention on her? Back when I was in the States, every secret of any school beauty would be dug up eventually. When boys are crazily in love with someone, it can be quite terrifying. Chu Mengyao asked, "You don't even know this. Are you really friends with her? Or are you just planning to chase her too?" I'm not that kind of unscrupulous person. I really do just see her as a friend. But she seems really famous at school. Why is that? Chu Mengyao nodded. She's very famous. While others spend money to go to school, she makes money by going to school. Plus, she takes first place in every national exam. She's brought the school so much glory that even the principal sucks up to her. I already knew Su Mushue was a super genius, but I didn't expect her to be this impressive. After chatting for a while, we arrived at class 1, grade 3. I went to the classroom door, pulled someone aside, and asked, "Is Su Mushue still here? Can you help me call her out for a moment?" The boy I pulled aside looked me up and down with a look of familiarity. "Here to confess to Su Mushue again, but you're too late. A guy just called her out already. They're probably in some corner right now giving her a love letter. Come back tomorrow. Remember to come a bit earlier. That other guy was waiting outside the class, even before the bell rang. After saying that, he waved at me and left. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I wanted to say I was Su Mushue's friend, but he didn't even give me a chance to explain before walking off. Chu Mengyao seemed to have expected this. I heard before that every boys line up to confess to her. Now I actually believe it. It's only normal. She's so beautiful, and she's a super genius. And with such a gentle personality, no wonder so many boys are crazy about her. I sighed after saying that. Hearing this, Chu Mengyao looked shocked. Gentle? Are you mistaken? Su Mushue is famous for being cold. Don't be fooled by all the boys confessing every day. She doesn't give them so much as a second glance. I thought for a moment and shook my head. That's not it. I think she's a very gentle person. She's not cold at all like you say. I'm still telling you to give up. Su Mushu isn't someone who's easy to get close to. I bet you don't even know her at all. And you just want to find a way to talk to her. Shu Mengyao still didn't believe me, because she had seen Su Mushu's coldness before. Moreover, she had never heard anyone associate Su Mushu with the word gentle. I smiled and shook my head. However, don't worry about it too much. Let's head to the cafeteria and eat first. A few minutes later, we arrive at the cafeteria. As we were looking for a place to sit, we ran into some of our classmates. They waved us over to join them. One of the boys started teasing Jiang Yichin. Chu Mengyao, why are you two together? You've only known each other for a morning. Don't tell me you've already fallen for each other. The other students started laughing and made a fuss. Get together. Get together. Several people began chanting loudly. The shouting in the cafeteria was very noticeable, drawing the eyes of everyone around us. And just as Gu Qinghen walked in, she heard the chanting too. She glanced over casually and unexpectedly caught sight of me. And of course, Chu Mengyao was right by my side. Gu Qinghen narrowed her eyes. Is this the top-tier beauty he was talking about? Humph, someone like that is called a top-tier beauty. She inwardly looked down on my taste. She had been a bit concerned by what I said earlier, but now that she saw the girl's face, all her worries vanished. How could someone of that caliber even compare to her? Gu Qinghen didn't turn back as she headed to the second floor. Following behind her was a handsome-looking boy. Gu Qinghen had always been the center of attention, so the moment she appeared, even the boys in my class were drawn to her. It's Gu Qinghen, they said, entranced. She's going up to the second floor. She's just so beautiful. Every move she makes radiates an aristocratic aura. I raised an eyebrow at that. I really couldn't stand their infatuated expressions. So she's the school beauty. Is it possible there's no one prettier than her? I think Su Mushue from grade 3 is also very beautiful. The moment I said that, it immediately made several boys glare at me. Chu Mengyao quickly tugged on my sleeve. She whispered in my ear, watch what you say. They're all die-hard fans of Gu Qinghen. If you say even one bad thing about her, they'll come for you. I was speechless. Die-hard fans? Even that girl has die-hard fans. Though I really didn't want to admit it, finding someone more beautiful than her would indeed be difficult. Maybe it's because I've watched her grow up that I've become immune to it. Come on, let's go eat on the second floor too. Those boys immediately stood up, glared at me, and left the table, head upstairs. The girls who remained behind were looking at the two of us with knowing eyes. Jiang classmate, why don't you just date Chu Mengyao? You two look so good together. After saying that, they all giggled together. I gave them a look and let out a speechless sigh. These people are so boring. Just because a boy and a girl are together, they have to ship them. I put my arm around Chu Mengyao's shoulder and said to them instead, Chu Mengyao is great, I'll consider it. Stop gossiping, you guys. Soon after they finished eating and left, Chu Mengyao turned to look at me and asked, was what you just said true? Just as I was about to say something, I saw Gu Qinghen coming down from the second floor. She was looking at me with a sour expression. I also saw the bunch of die-hard fans behind her. Humph. In front of your official husband, you don't even say hello, and you even dare to give me a dirty look. So I turned around and gave Chu Mengyao a sweet smile, picking up a piece of braised meat to feed her. With a smile plastered on my face, I gave her an order. Open your mouth. Chu Mengyao looked at me with a head full of question marks. Looking surprised at the sudden favor, she asked, wait, so what you said about considering me was real? Hurry and open your mouth. My voice was slightly impatient. Chu Mengyao broke into a sweet smile, opened her mouth, and leaned to eat the piece of meat I was feeding her. I want to eat yours. Feed me quickly, I urged her. I couldn't help but steal a glance toward Gu Qinghen. Gu Qinghan was indeed still watching me. She casually put her arm around a fan's shoulder and walked out. Do you want some fish or some beef? Shu Mengyao asked. Either is fine, just hurry. Chu Mengyao picked up a piece of meat and brought it to my mouth. By now, Gu Qinghan had already left the cafeteria. Since she was gone, I lost interest in the performance. I pushed Chu Mengyao's chopstick away and said with a hint of disappointment, "Just eat it yourself. I don't want to eat anymore." Chu Mengyao stared at me blankly. Why the sudden change? We were so intimate just a second ago. Jang classmate, what's wrong? Don't you like fish? How about I give you some steak then? Hearing that, I looked at her. Didn't I already tell you? You need to know how to distinguish which of my words are true and which are lies. Chu Mengyao's face was full of frustration. So what you said earlier was a lie.
I actually thought you found me decent and would consider dating me. Suddenly, she felt a bit sad.
Chu Mengyao clutched her chest, pretending to be hurt. The afternoon classes were soon over. Chu Mengyao walked with me to the school gate. Her driver had already arrived to pick her up. She asked if I wanted a ride home. I waved my hand. No need. They'll take my own car back. Hurry up and go, I said while pushing her, stuffing her into the car and telling the driver to take her home. After the car had driven off, I quietly snuck back to the school gate. I saw Gu Qinghan squatting beside a luxury car. She looked completely dejected. She was even muttering, "Jiang Yichen, hurry up and come here." I gave a soft chuckle and walked over to tap her on the shoulder. Gu Qinghan turned and looked to find me standing right in front of her. I reached out to pull her up and said, suppressing a laugh, "Gu Qinghan, you're so childish. Squatting here like this. People might mistake you for a kid from the elementary school next door." Gu Qinghan indignantly reached out to swat at me, but a smile broke out on her face. "Don't you have your top-tier beauty with you? I was planning to not wait for you at first." Then she glared at me and asked, "You were hiding somewhere and spying on me, weren't you?" "So what if I was?" I reached out and pinched her nose. "Let's just go home." With that, I took her hand and ushered her into the car. A while later, we finally arrived back at the house. The driver pulled in, the large iron gates opened, and a line of servants stood in 2 rows to welcome us. I got out and led Gu Qinghan inside by the hand. The servant at the door immediately opened it for us, and we both stepped inside. Suddenly, there was a series of loud popping sounds that startled us both. Streamers and ribbons showered down upon us. "Congratulations on your engagement." Everyone in the house cheered joyfully. Jiang Yuqin and Gu Qinghan stood there, dazed. Mother Gu walked over, took my hand, and said happily, "Jiang Yuqin, you are my son-in-law from now on." Gu Qinghan took a look around and saw that the living room was festively decorated. Many guests had been invited, each dressed formally for the occasion. She frowned, looked at her mother and asked, "Mom, what is the meaning of this?" Mother Gu smiled and said, "Today is your engagement party. Since today is a good day anyway, we might as well hold it now. Jiang Yichen, come and look. I ordered a beautiful cake for your engagement party. You two will definitely love it." I was also pulled over, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. In the center sat a 10-tier cake, exquisitely crafted and magnificent. Father Gu walked over and patted my shoulder. "Take good care of Gu Qinghan from now on. Got it? I'm entrusting her to you. Don't you dare let her down." Gu Qinghan was stunned and speechless, so no one had even asked for her opinion, or she even wanted to get married. But under her grandfather's stern gaze, she didn't dare to flatly refuse the engagement in front of all these people. At the engagement party, the Gu family officially announced our engagement to everyone. To allow us to nurture our feelings, there was no rush for the wedding yet. Moreover, neither of us had yet reached the legal age for marriage. Just as I was the legal age for marriage, just as I was breathing a sigh of relief, Mother Gu said with a beaming smile, "Once Qinghan turns 18, you can go abroad to get married." Seeing this, Gu Qinghan pulled me aside and said dissatisfactorily, "Do you really not want to marry me that much?" I gave a sly laugh and put my arm around her shoulder. I whispered in her ear, "Gu Qinghan, could it be that you secretly like me all this time, which is why you're so eager to marry me?" Gu Qinghan's heart had been racing because of my proximity, but hearing that, she gave me a glare and pushed my head away. "Only a ghost would secretly like you. And being forced into this too, okay? That's good then. Then let's resist this together. Your dad loves you so much, he won't force you to marry someone you don't like." By the time I reached the end, I was frowning. Could this girl really not like me at all? It's not that I'm narcissistic. It's that I actually have the right to be. I don't believe it. I don't believe she doesn't have a single feeling for me. Gu Qinghan, as if reading my mind, snorted and said, "Sorry, but I can't cooperate with you. Regardless, our engagement is a fact that won't change. You better just accept your fate. Have you accepted yours?" I narrowed my eyes and observed her suspiciously, feeling like she was hiding something from me. Gu Qinghan spread her hands and shrugged. "I've already accepted it. What are you worried about? We won't officially marry until I'm 18 anyway. That's still a long way off. Who knows what might change before then?" I relaxed and hugged her, saying, "I'm not worried. If we marry, we marry. It's just adding a wife. What's so bad about that? After saying that, I brought my face close to hers, as if I was about to kiss her. Gu Qinghan shrank back to avoid me. Hey, what are you doing? The next second, I suddenly pinned her against the wall. I laughed wickedly. Gu Qinghan, you underestimate men way too much. I don't think you understand men at all. Do you want to try? Go ahead and try. Gu Qinghan, initially panicked, suddenly regained her composure and countered me. Then she suddenly threw a sharp me strike.
I nimbly dodged it, catching her leg as she kicked out. I spoke up. I didn't expect you to be so proactive, my dear wife, since you're being so enthusiastic that I won't hold back anymore. Jiang Yichen made Gu Qinghan blush from ear to ear. She could only cry out. I grinned triumphantly. Say, hubby, you're so amazing, and I'll let you go. Gu Qinghan stubbornly pouted and refused to say it. You're so disgusting. I was just about to keep teasing her. Suddenly, I felt a strong gaze on us. I immediately snapped out of it and looked back. I saw that most of the guests present were watching us. Their faces were full of envy for the young couple showing affection. Oh my God! Gu Qinghan's face suddenly turned bright red. We were just joking around. I forgot we were still at the engagement party. This time, it's truly a huge embarrassment. Turns out we were putting on an intimate show in front of so many people. She quickly pushed me away and ran toward the door. And so, this engagement party ended amidst the laughter of our elders. On the way back, Du Qinghan sat beside me grumbling, "It's all your fault," while slamming me in front of everyone. Thinking back to that embarrassing moment, she reached out and slapped my arm. I also felt a bit of regret, no matter how thick-skinned I usually am. In that situation, it was indeed a bit loose-face. Whatever, it already happened. What's the point of dwelling on it now? It was our engagement party anyway. So what if we were a little intimate? I intentionally spoke as if it were nothing. Just then, the driver brought us back to the high-end apartment. We got out and entered the elevator. I wall-slammed her again in the elevator. See, it's perfectly fine like this. Gu Qinghan's face was still red. She ducked out from under my arm and walked away. That's because you're thick-skinned. You don't feel anything at all. I'm thin-skinned. The elevator is here. We both stepped out. Gu Qinghan just scanned her fingerprint to open the door. Just then her phone rang. It was my mother. Gu Qinghan got a bit of a headache seeing the call. Strangely, she had a bad feeling. Mother Gu on the other end said with a joyful laugh, "Qinghan, there's something I forgot to tell you both. I had someone renovate your apartment a little. You two are now fiancé and fiancée. From now on, you'll sleep in the same room. That way, your feelings will develop quickly." Got it? The door opened and we both walked in. We immediately understood what was going on. I won't allow you to sleep separately. You must sleep together from now on. Got it. Otherwise, I'll send you both to Russia immediately. Over there, you can get married at 14. Gu Qinghan let out a sigh. Massaging her temples, she said, All right, I know. Mother Gu smiled somewhat mysteriously. She gave special instructions, saying, I bought a few gifts and put them on the bed for you. Anyway, I won't disturb your rest anymore. Good night. Gu Qinghan hung up. She explained to me that her mom sent some gifts over. Then Gu Qinghan and I walked into the bedroom. Sure enough, there was a box on the bed. It looked quite big. They got me engaged without even asking. It's only right to send gifts to make up for it. Thinking this, Gu Qinghan happily rushed over to open the box. When she saw clearly what was inside the box, she immediately froze. It turned out to be Durex. Both of our jaws dropped. Then we looked at each other. Gu Qinghan reached into the box to look through it. The inside was full of them, a whole box full. There must be at least a few hundred. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, giving us this many. How long will it take to use them all? Gu Qinghan shot me a glance. Who wants to use them with you? I suddenly gave a wicked grin. I flipped over and pinned her down on the bed. Then I breathed softly on her. I said intimately, What's there to be shy about? We're already fiancé and fiancée. Let's do it. Gu Qinghan's delicate little face suddenly turned bright red. She used both hands and feet to push me away. She wrapped her arms tightly across her chest. She looked at me warily and said, Jiang Yichen, you pervert. I gave a huff. I glanced at her mockingly and said, It's just a condom, isn't it? Is there a need to make such a fuss? Have you never seen one of these before? Gu Qinghan, poked by my words, immediately refused to lose. She tilted her little chin up proudly and said, Who says I haven't seen them? I just don't want to use them with you. You're such a playboy. You have too many girlfriends. Who knows if you have some dirty disease? Hearing that, I wasn't happy.
Moreover, her look of disgust, as if I were dirty, really provoked me. I pouted and said, "I'm still a virgin. Believe it or not." Gu Qinghen looked at me suspiciously. "For real or what? You've dated so many girls, and you're still a virgin." I doubt anyone would believe that. Actually, I regretted saying it as soon as the words left my mouth. If this gets out, it'll damage my manly dignity. "Qinghen, let's just pretend I never said that. And you never heard it, okay?" I said to her flatteringly. Gu Qinghen understood immediately why I was acting like this. She immediately grinned like a cat that ate the canary. "You want me to help you keep this secret?" I nodded. Gu Qinghen smiled slyly, tilting her little chin up like an arrogant young lady. She said, "It's not impossible, but you have to listen to me."
Then I'll pretend I didn't hear anything. "My lady wife, I'll do whatever you say." I pulled Gu Qinghen's small hand and stroked the back. "This attitude is acceptable for now. I'm very easy to talk to. I won't make things difficult for you, and I won't make you do anything illegal. It's very simple." Gu Qinghen giggled. "From now on, this room is mine. You sleep on the sofa." Hearing that, my smile stiffened. I looked at her in disbelief, as if doubting I heard correctly. The sofa. Gu Qinghen, afraid I'd go back on my word, pointed her finger at me and repeated what I just said. "You just said, I'll do whatever you say. No taking it back. This is exactly what shooting oneself in the foot feels like. I'm finally experiencing it firsthand. Although I really wanted to play around, considering my manly dignity, I decided to humor her for now. "Keep the promise," I said, acting very generous. But in my head, I was already thinking about how to reclaim ownership of the bedroom. Gu Qinghan grabbed a pillow and shoved it into my arms. She waved at me. Then, "Good night." I could only walk out reluctantly. I went out around after 10 p.m. I was about to get up for a can of cola when I heard the sound of rustling footsteps. Gu Qinghan came out of the room. She was even happily humming a tune. I flipped over and sat up. Looking at her, I asked, "You, what are you coming out for?" "I'm thirsty, looking for something to drink." Gu Qinghan went to the kitchen. She took a drink from the fridge. "Get me a cola," I shouted to her. Gu Qinghan didn't mind my commanding tone. She was in a good mood right now, so she didn't fuss with me. Instead, she took a can of cola and tossed it to me. Then she leaned against the sofa and sat on the rug. Her legs were crossed. "Where's the remote? I want to watch TV." She looked around but couldn't find the remote, so she reached her small hand out in front of me. I felt around the sofa for a bit, found the remote, and placed it in her hand. I looked at her profile. I realized this girl has become more and more beautiful over the years. Before, her face was still round, like a cute round-faced kitten. Now she's grown up. Her jawline is more defined. The slight pointiness makes her face look very delicate. "Hey, that girl who went to the cafeteria with you today. Is she the great beauty you were talking about? Your eyesight is really poor nowadays. Calling that kind of person a beauty?" She suddenly spoke up. I glanced at her. The corner of my mouth quirked up. "Why, are you jealous?" "Humph. Why would I be jealous? How could someone of that caliber even compare to me?" Gu Qinghan huffed, expressing her dissatisfaction with me comparing her to that girl. "My beauty is completely superior and miles ahead of that girl." I took a sip of my drink and said with a mysterious smile, "You guessed wrong. The great beauty I mentioned wasn't her. Speaking of which, I couldn't help but think of Su Mushui, wondering if I should look for her again tomorrow." Gu Qingyan noticed I was spacing out, suspecting I was really thinking about that great beauty. She couldn't help but feel a bit sour. "Then tell me, who's your great beauty?" "I don't believe it. Who in this school is prettier than me?" I grinned mischievously. "And just not going to tell you. Anyway, I know you're not the only school beauty." Hearing this, Gu Qingyan got a little angry. "Look at that lovesick grin on your face. You like her. Jiang Yichen, don't you forget. You're my husband now. Are you planning to have an affair?" Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. "An affair? Please, my dear wife. You seem to have quite a few pursuers yourself. What right do you have to accuse me of having an affair? In short, I won't stop you from hanging out with handsome guys, and you don't stop me from flirting with girls. Really? Then let's pinky swear." Gu Qinghen looked at me and held up her pinky. Even though I thought this was way too childish, I still hooked mine with hers, just like when we were kids. Then we pressed our thumbs together. This moment made me feel like I was back in childhood. The two of us used to be inseparable. Back then, they were each other's only friends. Gu Qinghen suddenly remembered something and said, "Right, when we were very little. I think you were 3 or 4. I heard our parents say we were betrothed before we were even born." It was only then that she noticed. I had pulled her into my embrace. My hands were possessively wrapped around her waist.
Our posture was just like lovers. She quickly pressed her hands against my chest, trying to stand up. Quick, let me go. I have to go to sleep. I looked at her with a pitiful expression and said, Chinghan, do you remember before? When we were kids, we used to sleep together often. I remember. So what? She felt that my sudden trip down memory lane must have some ulterior motive. I gestured toward the sofa and said, even though this sofa is quite comfortable to lie on, it's not convenient for sleeping. Could you really bear to watch me lose sleep? We don't need to go to school tomorrow. Gu Qinghan glanced at me. This guy wants to play the emotion card. But she took a look at the sofa. Truly, if he had to sleep on the sofa all the time from now on, it would be very uncomfortable for him. It's fine to lie down for a bit when tired. But, wifey, I hugged her waist. I even acted spoiled and swayed with her. Fine, 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 you can come in and sleep, okay? Gu Qinghan finally softened her heart. Wifey, you are way too kind. I successfully acted spoiled. Gu Qinghan thought of something. She pointed at me and said seriously, but let's get one thing straight. From now on, the bedroom is my territory. In my territory, you have to listen to me. Understood? I gave her an okay sign. Then I let go, grabbed the pillow, and hugged her too. Let's go to the bedroom. Wifey, let's go to sleep. Gu Qinghan pretended to be disgusted. Who wants to be with you? Sleep? We're sleeping separately, or else. The bedroom bed is quite large. Even with two people, it's still very spacious. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed to share. Fine, fine, we'll sleep separately. Just don't want to sneak attack on me at night. Worried you won't be able to resist my beauty in the middle of the night. Hey, say one more word and you're out. I wisely shut my mouth. Grinning, I ushered her into the room, then closed the door. The next morning, clear sunlight streamed into the room. My sleep was very comfortable. I hugged the thing in my arms and nuzzled it, even wiped some drool on it, while sleeping soundly. Someone pushed me and said, wake up. Jang Yuchen, wake up. So annoying, don't bother me. I grumpily waved the fly away, not letting it interfere with my sleep. Yuchen, get up now. We'll be late for school. School. I suddenly woke up completely. Opened my eyes. Got to go to school today. Got to go find Su Mushua. Thinking of the great beauty, all my sleepiness vanished. With sleepy eyes, I stretched and looked at the person in front of me. At this moment, Gu Qinghan was frowning at me. Yesterday, you had the nerve to tell me not to sneak attack you. But you were the one sneak attacking me. You playboy. You even want me? I grabbed her finger with one hand, staring at her with squinted eyes, and bluntly told her the truth. Look closely. This side of the bed is mine. You're the one who sneak attacked me. Of course, I wouldn't tell her about what she did last night. Gu Qinghan was stunned for a moment. Only then did she look at the other side of the bed. Sure enough, more than half the bed was empty. The two of us were huddled together on her side. What's more, I was hugging her tightly like an octopus. If you want to know who attacked whom, just look at the posture. It's obvious. Gu Qinghan was slightly embarrassed. I stared at her, enjoying the show, waiting to see how she would admit her mistake. Gu Qinghan quickly reacted. Like an arrogant princess, she huffed and said, what do you mean this side is yours? Don't you forget, this entire bedroom belongs to me. I'm only temporarily lending you half this bed, so it still belongs to me. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Looking at my expression, Gu Qinghan laughed very happily. If you're not happy, then go back to sleeping on your sofa. I was kind enough to lend you the bed, and you dare to say I'm wrong? I helplessly held up my hands. Okay, you win. I really couldn't find a reason to argue with her. I could only concede. And so the two of us got out of bed, washed up and headed to school. I, Su Mushua. I opened my eyes wide in delight. I saw her entering that same cake shop as yesterday, so I hurriedly shouted to Gu Qinghan, stop the car. Quick, stop the car. What's the matter? We're not there yet. Gu Qinghan asked, but she still told the driver to pull over. If people see me getting out of your car later, how am I supposed to pick up girls? After saying that, I held out my hand and wiggled my fingers. Give me that money. Gu Qinghan helplessly took out her wallet and placed some cash in my palm. She said disdainfully, why don't you go exchange money yourself? I don't have time. Having said that, I smiled with crinkled eyes and beckoned her closer. Gu Qinghan looked at me confused. She thought I wanted to whisper something. Without much doubt, she leaned in. I suddenly gave her a loud mwah on the cheek. I grinned and said, thanks, wifey. With the kiss done, I slipped out of the car. Gu Qinghan was stunned. Then she smiled. This guy really. But as she watched my figure disappear, she felt like I was acting a bit strange just now. Meanwhile, inside the cake shop, I smiled as brightly as sunshine and walked up behind Su Mushue, tapped her on the shoulder. Hello. Su Mushue turned her head. She didn't expect it to be me. She said, a bit surprised. Why is it you again? Exactly. It seems we're destined to meet. Having said that, I saw she was buying cake again. My heart skipped a beat. Couldn't help but wonder, is she buying it for her boyfriend again? If so, then her mysterious boyfriend must also be a Shangdi student. Su Mushue said to the service staff, I'll take a piece of strawberry cake. I raised my hand and also said to the staff, I'll have one too. Then I ordered another cup of milk tea. Afterward, we left the cake shop together. Just as we walked out, I saw a luxury car not far away. It looks like Gu Qinghan's car. At this moment, she was sitting in the car, looking in my direction. Her eyes were dark and unreadable as she stared at me and Su Mushue. I thought to myself, uh-oh, caught red-handed. I hurriedly said to Su Mushue, I don't know where to get a good breakfast. We quickly entered a breakfast shop. On Su Mushue's recommendation, I ordered a portion of small steamed buns.
Finished the buns. The two of us left the breakfast shop. I looked left and right warily, confirming that Gu Qinghan's car was gone. Only then did I breathe a sigh of relief. What's wrong? Su Mushue noticed my strange behavior and asked. I smiled and shook my head. It's nothing. Right? I went to your classroom to find you yesterday, but you weren't there. Your classmates said a girl called you out to confess. Is that true? I already rejected her. Su Mushue said very calmly. She looked at me and asked, Why were you looking for me? It's nothing much. Just wanted to say I'm not familiar with the school. I wanted to ask you to be my guide. I guiltily rubbed my nose. Actually, I already have Chu Mengyao as a guide. We walked to the school gate together. Since class was about to start, there were quite a few students in a hurry. I immediately felt the intense gaze of those around us. Needless to say, it was all because of Su Mushue, but she herself didn't pay it any mind. Clearly, she was used to it. The two went to the school gate. Su Mushue inadvertently glanced at the security guards. He noticed one of them was new, and the guard from yesterday was gone. The two guards were chatting. The veteran guard was saying, have to be a bit sharper from now on. Don't be careless like Xiao Li. Offending the wrong person gets you fired. Hearing this, Su Mushue turned her gaze toward me. Wasn't it just a small matter? You actually made the guard lose his job. Didn't even know him. I had no grudge against him. Why would I want to make him lose his job? I did my best to state my position. No grudge, no enmity. Yesterday when he blocked you, you were very angry, weren't you? And then there was that phone call, probably the principal calling. If you didn't have such a special status, would the principal have personally welcomed you? Su Mushue's voice gradually grew cold, speaking as if to reproach me. A person with money and power can decide a person's fate with just a single word. Do you know how important that job to that gatekeeper? His child was just born. The monthly cost of milk and diapers is already 1,000 or 2,000. Then there are other family expenses. If he loses his job, do you know what that means? I'm sorry. I don't like being friends with someone who uses their power to bully others. After saying that, Su Mushue ignored me standing there in a daze from her scolding and simply walked away. I quickly headed to class, feeling utterly dejected. I learned from Chu Mengyao that Su Mushue's family background is very ordinary, and she's from a single-parent household. When her mother used to work, she was once bullied by the wealthy. That's why she despises rich people so much. I immediately understood why. Su Mushue was so furious. It must be that Gu Qinghan, wanting to defend me, had that gatekeeper fired. After all, her father is on the board of Shangda. You could say Shangda Academy is practically run by her family. Of course, she can do whatever she wants. As soon as class was over, I flew to the 12th grade building to find Su Mushue. Arriving at class 12A, I called out to a boy. Hey, could you call Su Mushue for me? Tell her Jiang Yuchen is looking for her, thanks. The boy grunted when he saw me, giving me a knowing, teasing look. Oh, it's you. Coming to confess so early today. You've got guts. What a coincidence, he was the same guy from yesterday. After speaking, the boy went inside the classroom. He shouted, Su Mushue, a guy is here for you. He said his name is Jiang Yuchen. I stood outside the door waiting. I thought Su Mushue wouldn't come out. When she saw me, her attitude was quite cold. What is it? She asked. I have something I want to say to you. Can you give me a few minutes? I answered calmly, and she replied, Fine. We went to an empty spot beside the school building. I looked at her and spoke seriously about the gatekeeper being fired. Whether you believe it or not, I knew nothing about this, but I've already figured out what happened. I will find a way to fix it. You didn't know the full story at all, yet you blamed me. You think that was right. After saying that, I turned to leave. Seeing my persistence and stubbornness, her dark eyes wavered slightly. She immediately realized she had wronged me. She had thought I was just like the other boys, approaching her with some ulterior motive. So she instinctively categorized me as just another entitled young master. Seeing me about to walk away, she suddenly grabbed my wrist. I'm sorry. I'll reserve the right to accept that apology.
After saying that, I shook her hand off and walked away. Next, I headed to the principal's office. Even though the bell for class had already rung, I didn't care at all. I barged straight into the principal's office. The principal was nodding off with his chin in his hand. Hearing the door slam open, he startled so hard his hand slipped and his head hit the desk. He clutched his forehead in pain, originally about to bark out in anger, but when he saw it was me, his face instantly broke into a smile. "Oh, Student Jiang, what's the matter? Come and sit down." I walked straight to his desk and slammed it with my hand. "Principal, why did you fire the gatekeeper? Was it because of me? Was it Gu Qinghan's order? You have to let him come back to work." "No way." A cold voice suddenly rang out. Gu Qinghan pushed the door open and walked in with a frigid face.
"Why are you here?" Seeing Gu Qinghan, I was a little surprised. Gu Qinghan snorted coldly and walked right up to me.
"I don't agree with what you just said." Saying that, she turned to the principal and said sternly, "Principal, anyone I fire cannot be rehired. You understand?" Seeing her sudden appearance, the principal, who was sitting, jumped to his feet in a startle. The principal wiped the sweat from his forehead and bowed his head submissively, answering, "Understood, Qinghan. I will certainly do as you wish." Hearing that, I frowned and looked at Gu Qinghan, saying, "What grudge do you have against that gatekeeper? Why would you take away someone's livelihood?" Gu Qinghan stepped closer to me and said angrily, "Didn't I do it because I wanted to take your side? You're doing this for Su Muxue, aren't you?" I looked at her blankly, asking in confusion, "Do you know Su Muxue?" Gu Qinghan pouted with annoyance.
"She once had a conflict with me. How could I not know her? Su Muxue already has a boyfriend, didn't you know? Stories of you hitting on her have spread all over school. Yi Chen, why are you that kind of person?" Only now did she understand that the beauty I mentioned before was Su Muxue. Thinking about this, Gu Qinghan's anger flared up again. And this morning too, the reason I suddenly wanted to get out of the car was because I saw Su Muxue, and then I just abandoned Gu Qinghan. I watched as Gu Qinghan's tears suddenly began to fall. I was completely stunned. "You jerk, Jiang Yichen. I don't want to talk to you ever again." Gu Qinghan glared at me, let out a loud sob, and turned to run outside. I clenched my fists, my expression looking grim. I only admired Su Muxue. It's not like I wanted to pursue her, much less plan to steal her away from her boyfriend. I hurriedly chased after her, but being only a few seconds behind, less than greater than, by the time I ran out of the principal's office, less than greater than. Gu Qinghan was nowhere to be seen. Less than greater than. I was so frustrated I wanted to punch something. I ran toward the stairwell, but I didn't know that. Gu Qinghan was hiding in the corner of the stairs. Just as I rushed out, my shadow flashed right in front of her, but I didn't see her tucked away in the shadows. Gu Qinghan looked up, then angrily buried her head in her knees. "You jerk, Jiang Yichen. You blind idiot." Tears flowed once again. She crouched there, stifling her sobs. After school was over, Gu Qinghan recalled the scene of my appearance yesterday, and the anger in her heart had mostly dissipated. But she stood outside the gate waiting for over 10 minutes as the sky gradually darkened and I still hadn't shown up. Gu Qinghan's expression slowly darkened. She finally couldn't take it anymore and screamed, "Jiang Yichen, get out here right now. You must be hiding somewhere to see if I'll worry about you, right?" But another minute passed, and still no one appeared. Gu Qinghan instantly felt a surge of sadness. She thought to herself that I must have already left. The more she thought, the angrier she got, so Gu Qinghan decided to run away from home. But where to go if not home? If she went back to the Gu family residence, Jiang Yichen would just feel relieved. It wouldn't have any impact. Fine, since she was running away, she naturally had to keep her whereabouts a secret from me, to make me worry. In the end, Gu Qinghan decided that she would stay at a hotel, and it had to be the very best hotel. Half an hour later, Gu Qinghan stood before a magnificent and luxurious hotel. It was a 6-star hotel. As soon as she stepped out of the car, staff opened the door, greeting her with a friendly smile. "Welcome, ma'am. Would you like to check in?" That's right. Gu Qinghan, being a wealthy heiress, didn't need to fake her aura. Her manner was noble, relaxed, and natural. She was led to the reception desk. The receptionist smiled professionally and asked politely, "Greetings, miss. What kind of room would you like?" Gu Qinghan thought for a moment, then told her, "I want the best presidential suite." The receptionist was stunned, as if doubting her own ears, and quickly asked again, "Are you sure, miss? Because the price for a night in our presidential suite is..." Gu Qinghan couldn't care less about the price. In less than a minute, Gu Qinghan was holding the room key card. She entered the hotel elevator. The elevator ascended to the top floor. There were only 3 presidential suites here. She was in the middle one, which also offered the best view. Someone escorted her up, opening the door for her, ready to be at her service. Gu Qinghan gave a tip and sent the person away. The presidential suite was unimaginably luxurious. The living room alone was vast. Gu Qinghan let out a happy cheer and flopped down onto the sofa. This is so comfortable. The sofa was unbearably cozy. As she lay there, she gradually became drowsy. The night grew late. It was 11 o'clock by the time I returned to the apartment. In a foul mood, I had gone out to drink alone. Finally, feeling too frustrated, I just headed back. Though I didn't want to admit, I was still worried about that stupid girl, Gu Qinghan. Once I was inside, I saw the place was pitch black. I immediately frowned. A bad premonition stirred in my heart. Has that girl not come home yet? I hurriedly flipped the light switch, calling out into the empty air, Gu Qinghan. No answer. My face darkened. I searched every room in the house. As expected, she wasn't back. It's already 11 o'clock,
and she's still not home. I punched the wall hard. I cursed. Damn it. Gu Qinghan, you idiot. You didn't even come home. I was going crazy with anger. If Gu Qinghan were in front of me right now, it'd definitely teach her a lesson and give her a good spanking. But the most urgent thing now was to find her. I was terrified something might have happened. Thinking of that, my face turned pale. I was filled with deep regret. I should have come home earlier. It's already 11 p.m. Who knows if that stupid girl has already been eaten alive by someone. Now is not the time to be sulking. I quickly called her. The phone was off. I narrowed my eyes, thinking of a possibility. Don't tell me that girl blocked my number. I tried using the house landline, call her number. This time it wasn't a busy signal. She really did block me. My chest heaved with anger. I swear, once I find her, I'm definitely giving her a good hard spanking. The call connected. Gu Qinghan's voice rang out, what, sounding like she was chewing something. Is she actually eating? Where are you? I asked. Gu Qinghan paused, obviously recognizing my voice. She was silent for a moment before snorting. I'm not telling you. If you're so smart, find me yourself. Until you apologize. I don't want to talk to you. After that, she slammed the phone down. I stared at the receiver for a moment, my lips curling into a devious smile. Did you think I couldn't find you? Just you wait. I went into my study, turned on the computer, pulled out another phone, and dialed Gu Qinghan's number. Gu Qinghan picked up. I intentionally waited a bit, using the gap to type rapidly on the keyboard. Then I finally spoke. If you don't give me even a single hint, how am I supposed to know where you are? Hearing it was me again, Gu Qinghan giggled happily. A hint? Let me think. I'm in a place that's incredibly luxurious. It's very comfortable here. I'm enjoying myself so much. Can you guess where? Fine, I'll find you. Just wait. I narrowed my eyes at the results on the screen. I already knew where she was. Before Gu Qinghan could say another word, I hung up. Gu Qinghan was left in a daze. She stared at the phone for a while, wondering if she had missed something. Or did she accidentally reveal her location? Thinking back, she definitely hadn't. She huffed to herself. She tossed the phone aside and went back to eating her fruit. She didn't believe I could actually find her. 20 minutes later, Gu Qinghan yawned as she lay on the sofa, stretched, and walked over to the floor-to-ceiling window. She was admiring the beautiful night view. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Gu Qinghan was puzzled. Hadn't all the food she ordered been delivered already? Or was something missing? Without much thought, she went to open the door. When she saw the face of the visitor, Gu Qinghan was stunned. Jan Yichin. How did you know I was here? She couldn't believe it. I actually found her. Let's go, come home with me. I grabbed her wrist, intending to pull her away. Gu Qinghan grimaced, trying to yank her hand back. I'm not going. The strength difference between a man and a woman was too great. Unable to break free, she stomped hard on my foot. In pain, I let go of her hand. She took the chance to shove me out. Bam. The door slammed shut. I went up to the door and pounded on it, yelling, Gu Qinghan, open the door. It's already so late. Just come home with me. Gu Qinghan leaned her back against the door and said petulantly, I'm not going back. I frowned. Just as I was thinking of a way in, a man in a suit walked over. I pulled some strings and explained that this was my wife's room. I quickly managed to get a room key. Inside the room, Gu Qinghan noticed the silence outside and thought to herself that Jiang Yichin must have left. Just as she was feeling annoyed, she heard a beep. It was the sound of a keycard being swiped. Then the door was pushed open. Gu Qinghan, who was leaning against the door, was knocked down onto the carpet. I stepped inside, and seeing her fallen like that, I couldn't help but laugh and say, What are you doing lying on the carpet? Even though my tone was teasing, I still walked over to help her up. Gu Qinghan pouted, glared at me, and asked, Do you have a key card? This hotel is far too reliable, just giving out keys to anyone like that. I smiled mischievously and intentionally said, Because I told the manager you're my wife. Gu Qinghan snorted, shook my hand off, and went to sit on the sofa by herself. Hugging a pillow to her chest, she said grumpily, "Who's your wife? Let me tell you, I'm really angry this time. If you don't apologize, I absolutely won't forgive you." I sat down beside her and pulled her tightly into my arms. "Hey, what are you doing?" I suddenly smirked and unexpectedly pushed her back onto the sofa, trapping her so she couldn't escape. "Haven't you heard the saying? A couple's quarrel is settled in the bedroom." As I spoke, I lowered my face a bit more, making the already small gap even shorter. This time, we were even closer. Gu Qinggan's whole body stiffened, and she didn't dare move. She glared at me. "Why are you so close? Get up off me." Even though as kids, the two of us all hugged and played around. Now that we were grown up, the feeling was completely different. I gave a wicked grin, intentionally squeezing her tighter, as I said, "I find this quite comfortable." Gu Qinghan snapped, "You might be comfortable, but I'm not. Get up right now. Can't we just talk normally?" "Talk normally? You said it." Having achieved my goal, I finally let her go. One moment I was being so reckless, and the next I suddenly yielded. Gu Qinghan felt for some reason that she had been tricked. She leaned into the corner of the sofa, hugging a pillow as a shield. I followed suit, sitting cross-legged across from her, scooting a bit closer and said, "Talk then. What kind of apology do you want before you'll forgive me?" Just like when we were little and I'd coax her, we sat like this to negotiate. If I gave her what she wanted, we'd be even. Gu Qinghan thought of the grievances from today, pouted and looked at me reproachfully. You were too much today." I thought back to the events of the day. My heart also felt heavy. After all, it was the first time I'd seen her, crying so heartbrokenly like that, and the main culprit was me. I scratched my head in frustration and explained, "I'm sorry. I only think of Su Mushue as a friend. I know she has a boyfriend. No matter how much I admire her, less than greater than. I wouldn't destroy her relationship with her boyfriend, less than greater than." Gu Qinghan, hearing my explanation, less than greater than, felt her mood improve significantly, less than greater than. And she looked at me in surprise and asked, "How did you know I was at this hotel?" I let out a laugh and reached out to flick her nose. As long as I want to know, nothing can be hidden from me. Gu Qinghan looked at me in disbelief. Her mouth dropped open. She clearly believed it. "A fly's going to fly into your mouth," I said suddenly. Gu Qinghan was startled and quickly snapped her mouth shut. Her eyes were a bit frantic, but she soon realized she'd been tricked. She angrily grabbed a pillow and smacked me with it. "You tricked me, you jerk. Did you forget that we're officially engaged? You're my fiancé now. If something really happened between you and Su Muxue, where would that leave my dignity?" I caught the pillow and snatched it away, saying in return, "You have the nerve to talk about me. What about you? Don't you have a whole army of pursuers?" Gu Qinghan frowned. "What army of pursuers?" "I don't have a whole army of them. Don't say you don't." I pointed at her nose accusingly. "There's already plenty at Shangda alone, let alone other schools. Aren't they all just your simps? Anyway, I think you're so silly that sooner or later you'll be swindled and sold off." "Don't call me silly." Gu Qingyan had no more pillows to hit me with, less than greater than, so she started hitting me with her hands. "Less than greater than." I grinned mischievously. "Less than greater than," and took the chance to grab her hands and pull her close. "Less than greater than." Then a pull brought her close to my side. "Less than greater than," holding her tightly in my arms. "Gu Qinghan, you dummy, you idiot, you're such a fool." I intentionally repeated it once more, and even messed up her hair. "You jerk, stop saying that, stop it right now." Gu Qinghan growled at me. Her small, slender hands were flailing in front of me, trying to hit me. I used one hand to grab both of her tiny hands, leaving her unable to move. "Hee, you lost." I laughed triumphantly, innocent as a kid who just pulled off a successful prank. Gu Qinghan struggled with me for a bit. She frowned in annoyance. "You jerk, you won't even go easy on me. When we were little, we were evenly matched when we played, but now that she's so petite, the difference is like night and day. How could she ever beat me?" Space on the sofa was limited. We were messing around without restraint, not realizing how intimate our posture had become, till Gu Qinghan finally felt it. Her eyes flitted away in a panic. She sat up beside me. After I composed myself, I sat close to her and asked, "Do you remember what you liked most when you were little? What was it?" Gu Qinghan sat parallel to me, leaning back against the sofa. She turned her head to look at me. The two of us just stared at each other. "Is there a prize if I guess right?" Gu Qinghan smiled mischievously. "Tell me after you guess right." I intentionally kept her in suspense. Then I took out my phone, holding it by my hip to hide it from her view, and composed a message to someone. "How little are we talking about?"
She asked if it was something she had liked since she was a kid. You probably still like it now. I wasn't stingy, giving her a hint. Her eyes, dark like grapes, blinked. Is it ice cream? I laughed and gave her cheek a gentle pinch. Always thinking about food. Aren't you afraid of becoming a little fatty? It is not food. Gu Qinghan noted that. Not food.
Gu Qinghan tapped her lip with her finger. Her expression showed she had no clue. She said frustratedly, I like so many things. How could I possibly guess? I am not guessing anymore. Just tell me straight. Hurry up. She started acting cute, tugging at my shirt. Just then, my phone rang. I answered it and tilted my head to the side, so she could not hear. Gu Qinghan felt something fishy was going on, and lunged forward. But the conversation only lasted a few seconds. She could not eavesdrop on anything at all. Gu Qinghan was both curious and staring at me expectantly. Come on, just tell me, what exactly is the gift? I curled my thin lips, said with a charming, handsome smile, Didn't you complain that my apology lacks sincerity? This time I prepared an apology gift for you. If you like it, will you forgive me? I have to see what it is first before saying anything. Gu Qinghan pretended to play hard to get, but inside she was already overjoyed. From childhood until now, every gift I prepared for her, she has never disliked any of them. Because I remember everything she likes. Come here. I took her hand, pulling her up from the sofa, leading her to the large floor-to-ceiling window. We stood on the transparent glass, gazing at the night scene outside, the city's most beautiful view at night. The next second, with a bang, a burst of fireworks exploded, like painting a brilliant flower on a black canvas. Oh, it's fireworks. Look, fireworks. She suddenly cried out repeatedly, excitedly tugging on my sleeve. The corner of my mouth curled into a smile. Fireworks soared and exploded one after another. So beautiful, you could not look away. For several minutes, hundreds of fireworks had burst, before slowly fading away. Gu Qinghan still had not seen enough, but she calmed down. She turned her head to look at me and asked, Is this the surprise you had for me? I nodded, wearing a charming smile. Yeah, do you like it? Gu Qinghan smiled happily. I love it. You seem sincere enough, so I will forgive you. I put my arm around her shoulder, leading her away from the window. Watched TV for a bit. Then I went into the bathroom, taking off my clothes as I went. Gu Qinghan saw me take off my t-shirt and was immediately wide-eyed and open-mouthed. Her cheeks seemed to heat up slightly. Hey, what are you doing? She asked hastily. I draped the shirt over my shoulder, glancing back at her. With a sly smile, I said, taking a shower. I am not going back. I am staying the night here. Gu Qinghan was stunned for a moment. Sleeping here? Why would you sleep here? But I didn't care and already went in to shower. Gu Qinghan let out a groan and collapsed onto the sofa. Suddenly, she seemed to think of something. She abruptly sat up, ran to the bathroom door, tapped on the door and said to the person inside, Hey, you are sleeping on the sofa. Don't even think about sleeping with me. It was already late. While I was showering out there, she ran into the bathroom to shower and even locked the bedroom door. That way, she would not have to worry about me sneaking in. Yet when she finished her shower and came out from the bathroom, she saw me leisurely sitting on the bed playing on my phone. She asked in shock, How did you get in? I clearly locked the door. I did not explain, but patted the spot next to me. Hurry up and come here. It is very late. Time to sleep. Gu Qinghan walked over and stood by the bed. With her hands on her hips, she pointed at me and said, Tell me right now. How did you get in? With a sly smile, I said I have a room card. Did you forget? Get in bed. It's not like we've never slept together. Why be shy? Who is shy? Gu Qinghan climbed onto the bed and threw back the covers, crawling in right next to me. I put my phone away and turned off the lights. The room became pitch black. 10 minutes passed and Gu Qinghan still was not asleep. She turned to look at me and in the moonlight from outside, she saw my eyes were closed as if I was asleep. She pouted. How did you fall asleep so fast? She softly called, Jiang Yichin. Yichin. Actually, she did not really want to wake me up. She just wanted to see if I was really asleep. Just as she finished calling my name, I suddenly opened my eyes and asked, What's wrong? Are you asleep? I can't sleep. She spoke to me in a low voice. I teased her. If I were asleep, could I be talking to you like this? I also turned my head to look at her. We were both lying on our sides, face to face, a head's width apart. Qinghan, it's been a long time since you called me that. My eyes silently gazed back at her, since her face was toward the window. The moonlight allowed me to see her face more clearly. Gu Qinghan's long, curved lashes blinked, as if asking in confusion. Calling you Yichin? I nodded slightly. That's right. Didn't you used to call me that all the time when we were kids? On the contrary, she didn't call him so intimately as she grew up. Instead, she mostly called me by my full name. Every time she called, it sounded like she was mad at me. Actually, I liked it better when she called me like she did back then. It was more intimate. I forgot. Gu Qinghen murmured, thinking for a bit. I think I really did call you Yichin before. Sometimes I would act cute with you and shake your arm, calling you brother Yichin. Gu Qinghen said, all right then. From now on, I will call you that.
But the condition is that you have to count sheep for me. Count sheep.
I looked at her, finding it a bit childish. She giggled. Right. I can't sleep. But it's already so late. If I don't sleep, a girl's skin won't stay pretty. So I want to fall asleep fast. Count sheep for me. I'm too lazy to count. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She's too lazy to count, so she tells me to do it for her. She's really something. Fine. I'll count for you then. But counting sheep isn't trendy anymore. So what's popular now? Gu Qingyan asked curiously. I smiled and said the trend now is counting dumpling, because dumplings sound just like sleep. Haha, dumplings are fun. Okay, count for me. Gu Qingyan said and shifted to a comfortable position, ready to wait for your dumplings to fall asleep. I started counting. 1 dumpling, 2 dumplings, 3 dumplings. Wait, I only counted a few, and she already stopped me. No, not this. If you count these, all I think about are dumplings. I'm getting hungry. Count something else, she said grumpily. Get the dumplings out of my head quickly, or I'll really get hungry. I thought for a moment. Suddenly, I curled my lips and said, how about this? 1 Gu Qingyan, 2 Gu Qingyans, 3 Gu Qingyans. Gu Qingyan suddenly laughed, nodding in satisfaction. Count like that. And so, in the darkness, my deep, magnetic voice rang out. 4 Gu Qingyans, 5 Gu Qingyans, 6 Gu Qingyans, 7 Gu Qingyan. Waking up the next morning, when Gu Qingyan opened her eyes, she looked down, finding that the two of us, just like last time, were in an embrace. She frowned in confusion, murmuring, how did this happen? Why is it that when I sleep with Jiang Yichin, I wake up like this? What's even stranger?
If it's because of her habit of hugging things while sleeping, then she should be the one hugging him, right?
Why did I end up nestled in his chest? Gu Qinghan broke free from my embrace, rubbing her eyes sleepily as she sat up. Hey, wake up. She patted my shoulder. I was awakened by her and opened my eyes, looking a bit grumpy from waking up early, looking at her unhappily. I'm really just torturing myself, I suddenly muttered. Gu Qinghan didn't hear clearly and asked, what did you say? Nothing. I sat up, stretching lazily. Gu Qinghan leaned in suspiciously, as if she discovered something. Didn't you sleep well? Your eyes are bloodshot. I gave her a reproachful look. I had to count sheep for you. I couldn't sleep until you did, and then halfway through, you. It would be a miracle if I slept well. I did what? What did I do? Gu Qinghan asked me, confused. My expression became a bit unnatural.
As if it were hard to say. I buried my head under the covers, planning to catch up on some more sleep. Jiang Yichen, you're so annoying. Stopping halfway. What exactly did I do to you last night? Tell me, I'm really curious. They say curiosity killed the cat. Gu Qinghan's curiosity was piqued. If I didn't give her an answer, she wouldn't let it go. I stuck a finger out from under the blanket. What did you promise me yesterday? Gu Qinghan suddenly remembered. I know. Brother Yichen, please tell me. Tell me quickly. She had slept very well last night, almost as if she closed her eyes and it was morning. She slept so soundly. So she had no memory of what she'd done. I was getting annoyed by her pestering. I glared at her sleepily and said, Anyway, you tortured me last night so I couldn't sleep. To make it up to me, go order breakfast right now. Bring it to me in a bit. Stop bothering me.
Let me sleep a little longer. Gu Qinghan saw that I was truly tired. That sleepy look couldn't fool anyone. She softened. She said gently, Fine, I'll get up first. You sleep some more. Gave a hum and closed my eyes to go back to sleep. Gu Qinghan didn't dare disturb me, carefully and quietly getting out of bed, leaving the room. After washing up, she sat cross-legged on the sofa, calling to have breakfast brought up. Actually, I didn't sleep for long. I only caught up for about 10 minutes. Thinking back on what Gu Qinghan did to me in the middle of the night, I gave a wry smile. The truth was this. That girl Gu Qinghan has terrible sleeping posture. She even kicks people. Since the first day I slept with her, she had already kicked me. When I was deep in sleep, I almost got kicked off the bed by her. I had no choice but to hold her tightly, to finally get some good sleep.
That's why every time the two of us woke up, we were in an embrace. I thought at first she did it on purpose that first day, but I didn't expect to get kicked again last night, so I knew it was real. I got up and went to the bathroom, washing my face. Gu Qinghan saw me get up so quickly. Just then, the hotel brought breakfast. After eating, we left the hotel after breakfast. Right, the lens was pointed at us from a corner of the hotel. Click, click. We were photographed. On Monday morning, I just sat down in class when Chu Mengyao turned around. "Yichen, are you okay?" She was worried. Found it strange. What could be wrong with me? Chu Mengyao hesitated before speaking. "Is it true about you confessing to Su Mushue? Do you really like her?" Then I remembered that video. Of course, it's not real. I only sought her out for something. Chu Mengyao clearly breathed a sigh of relief. "Really? You don't like her?" I gave a wry smile, just in an admiring way. Who wouldn't like an outstanding girl like her? Xu Mengyao relaxed. "But you better clear things up. I'll help you." I waved my hand. "Don't worry about it. In a few days, no one will remember." Xu Mengyao frowned again. "You don't know how many pursuers Su Mushue has." "They might," interrupted her. "Don't worry, Gu Qinghan is protecting me. No one dares touch me." Then Xu Mengyao lowered her voice. "By the way, I heard that on Friday, school beauty Gu was searching all over for you. She even broke up with Bai Tao. Everyone's gossiping that she's planning to pursue you." My eyes lit up. She really went all over the school looking for me. No wonder she was so furious that day. I lowered my head to message Gu Qinghan. Xu Mengyao asked worriedly, "Do you really not like school beauty Gu if she were to pursue you?" Just then, the bell for class rang abruptly, cutting our conversation short. After school was over, my phone received a message. I stared at the screen and frowned. Chu Mengyao turned around, seeing my expression. "What's wrong?" I quickly walked toward the door. "Nothing, I'm just heading out for a moment." Chu Mengyao chased after me. "Who messaged you?" I was gone before she could see where I went. At the corner of the stairs, 3 guys blocked my path. "So you're Jiang Yichen?" The brown-haired leader looked at me with fierce eyes. I turned around to run. "You've got the wrong guy." The brown-haired guy grabbed me tightly with both hands, shouting, "Catch him!" My phone fell during the struggle. The brown-haired guy quickly picked it up. The screen showed the latest message. "I'll wait for you by the poster wall. Sender, Su Mushue." The boy raised the phone and roared, "You still dare say you're not Jiang Yichen? How dare you flirt with Senior Su?" I quickly explained, "It's a misunderstanding. We're just normal friends." That video was edited. The brown-haired guy suddenly grabbed my collar. "Stop pretending. We came here on behalf of School Beauty Gu." I was completely confused. School Beauty Gu. I have nothing to do with her. Kiyu tightened his grip. School Beauty Gu actively pursuing a guy? Keep dreaming. Just then the phone suddenly rang. Looking at the incoming call on the screen, everyone was stunned. School Beauty Gu? It really is School Beauty Gu. No way. Kiyu tremblingly answered the call. A familiar angry roar came from the speaker. Jan Yichen. The 2 guys holding me immediately froze. It's Senior Gus' voice. Someone already had a love-struck look. I stared wide-eyed at their infatuated expressions. Was it worth it? Gu Qinghan is pretty sure, but to be so entranced just by hearing her voice, I suddenly had a thought. Taking advantage of the moment they loosened their grip, I snatched the phone from Kiyu's hand and dashed down the stairs without looking back. By the time they reacted, I had already run down several floors. Kiyu was hopping mad behind me. Jiang Yuchen, you just wait. Unless you drop out of school, you're dead meat. I ran like crazy to the 12th grade building, leaning against the wall, panting for breath. The phone rang again, displaying a call from Gu Qinghan. I answered tiredly. Gu Qinghan's voice was ice cold. What was that just now? You dare hang up on me? You've got nerve, I said while catching my breath. I was in class. Liar, I said aggrievedly. It's all your fault. I was just cornered by some guys. I almost got beaten up. I explained the whole story. That guy Kiyu said he's the president of your fan club. Gu Qinghan interrupted impatiently. What does that have to do with me? They did that on their own. She ordered me to stop talking nonsense. Come find me within 5 minutes. If you're late, you know the consequences. I was about to explain I had something to do, but Gu Qinghan had already hung up. What the? She's so overbearing, I grumbled softly at the phone. I hurried back to Gu Qinghan's classroom building. Just as I rushed to the stairwell door, suddenly someone grabbed my arm tightly. I nearly jumped out of my skin. What are you doing? A low voice rang in my ear. Turning around to face Gu Qinghan's cold eyes,
I patted my chest, gasping for air. You scared me to death. With a cold face, she scanned the direction I came from. That's the 12th grade building over there, right? I said 5 minutes. It's already been 15. Gu Qinghan crossed her arms and stared at me. Explain yourself. My eyes shifted as I thought of an excuse. She sneered. Go ahead, make something up.
Like I believe that. We grew up together. She knows my habit of touching my ear before lying better than anyone. I muttered under my breath. I wasn't even planning to lie. And tell me exactly where you went. Did you go looking for Su Mushui? Gu Qinghan's voice suddenly turned cold. At the thought of me choosing to see Su Mushui before her, a fire of rage ignited in Gu Qinghan's eyes. I instinctively denied it, saying I didn't. I regretted it the moment the words left my mouth. The consequences of having a lie exposed. I swallowed hard, feeling anxious. Gu Qinghan suddenly took a step closer. I was debating whether to confess or not. Suddenly, I heard her say coldly, "You're sneaking bites." I was stunned. I couldn't react for a moment. Even if I really did go to see Su Mushui, it wouldn't count as sneaking around, would it? Gu Qinghan suddenly reached out and wiped the corner of my mouth. She shook the cream on her fingertip. Sneaking off to have some cake, were you? She lowered her head and licked the cream clean. Strawberry flavor again. A grown-up like you still eating kids' cake. How childish. I stammered in protest. You're the one who's childish. Gu Qinghan leaned in close, her face flushed red. It's because you made me angry. I turned around to leave. She grabbed my wrist tightly. Fine, I'm sorry. I called you here for something important. She suddenly became serious. Who said they wanted to hurt you just now? What's their name? The guy claiming to be the president of your fan club. His name is Ku. You don't know him? Gu Qinghan frowned and shook her head. She didn't recall him. Forget it, I'm fine anyway. Gu Qinghan suddenly said, how about I go public and announce you're my boyfriend? That way, no one would dare bully you. I blurted out, don't you dare. Gu Qinghan's face instantly turned icy. I quickly laughed it off. I'm doing this for your own good. Gu Qinghan glared at me coldly. She knew perfectly well in her heart that my flat-out refusal was definitely because of Su Mushui. After all, since I like her, I have to stay single. Gu Qinghan asked one more time, are you sure you don't want to? I nodded, and Gu Qinghan ground her teeth. Remember those words. Don't you dare regret it. With that, she turned and walked away. I was stunned for 2 seconds before I reacted. Hey, are you mad? By the time I chased after her, she was gone. How strange. I scratched my head and thought about it, but I still didn't understand how I'd upset her. Whatever, I'll just coax her after school. Sure enough, just like Su Mushui said, I got lost on campus. Angdi Academy is terrifyingly huge. I was about to call Su Mushui when I saw a few guys sneaking around in this direction. They were looking all over the place, as if searching for someone. I picked up my pace. I heard them talking among themselves. Where the hell did he run off to? This school is so big. Are we really going to have to flip the whole place over? He's definitely hiding. When we find him, we'll give him a piece of our minds. I froze in my tracks. The 3 guys had already walked right in front of me. I took the initiative to speak. Excuse me, which way is the gymnasium? They suddenly stared at me intently. You look a lot like Jiang Yichen. My heart skipped a beat. I pretended to be clueless and scratched my head. Jiang Yichen who? You've got the wrong guy. After saying that, I tried to slip away. One of the guys blocked me. Wait, are you the new transfer student? The other guy suddenly shouted, Jiang Yichen is the transfer student. It's not me. I turned and bolted. The 3 guys immediately gave chase. Suddenly, someone lunged from the side, trying to grab me from behind. But they used too much force and pushed me onto the ground. Ow, my palms are burning. But I didn't have time to worry about that. If I get caught, I'm toast. Gu Qinghan, save me. I ran forward frantically. The 11th grade building was right ahead. Gu Qinghan, help me. My eyes lit up. I didn't expect to circle back to the right place. I'm saved now. Ku led the others over. Get him. I was still a short distance from the building when I was surrounded. There were too many of them. I was pinned to the ground immediately. Ku stepped up and delivered a kick. Run! Weren't you so good at running? The other guys sneered and formed a circle around me. Ku ordered, take him away. I clung to the ground, struggling. I managed to kick one of them. He grew furious and kicked me right in the back. They dared to be so aggressive because they'd done their homework. I was just a commoner who got into Class S based on grades. No one would care even if something happened to me. Brother, you, hurry up. Ku sneered. Strip him. Didn't you hear me? Strip him. A few guys immediately started tearing at my shirt. Another kick to the stomach. I curled up in agony. I was in a pathetic state. Gu Qinghan, you jerk. If you don't come, I'm going to die. Stop right there.
A girl rushed over. She fiercely pushed through the guys surrounding me. She shielded me behind her back. Gu Qinghan and Qi Yu were both stunned. Everyone stared at the newly arrived Gu Qinghan. She stood in front of me. Her face was filled with worry. "Are you okay?" I tried to open my eyes. Gu Qinghan's voice trembled. "Where are you hurt?" I shook my head and stood up. I took a few kicks, but I can handle it. Gu Qinghan's face darkened instantly as her gaze swept over the boys who touched.
The group of boys all took a step back in unison. "Who was the one kicking just now?" she demanded in a stern voice. The faces of two boys turned pale as ghosts. Their legs began to shake. "We didn't mean to." Ku suddenly lunged at me frantically. Gu Qinghan grabbed his wrist firmly. "Do you have a death wish? It hurts. Let go." Ku was in so much pain his eyes teared up. I wanted to stop her, but I whimpered in pain as soon as I raised my arm. Gu Qinghan suddenly shoved Ku away. She gripped my hand. "How did you get hurt this badly?" She stared at my blood-soaked palm. Her sharp gaze swept over Ku and the others. Her whole body radiated an icy aura. "You guys did this?" She turned and glared at me, both angry and worried. "And you call this fine? You're bleeding so much. Let's go to the infirmary." She frowned and pulled me along. We'd only gone 2 steps when I hissed through my teeth. Although the injuries weren't severe, being mobbed left my whole body aching and my movements stiff. Gu Qinghan quickly supported me. She still turned her head and said coldly to Wu Yu, "Less than greater than. Keep an eye on them. Less than greater than. Don't let a single one escape. Less than greater than." Just as we were about to leave, less than greater than, she suddenly stopped. Less than greater than. She looked at Qi Yu with cold eyes. "Didn't you want to know our relationship?" She raised her voice, proclaiming like a queen, "He's my husband. Did you hear that clearly?" The infirmary was right nearby. Gu Qinghan pressed me down onto a hospital bed. The doctor quickly bandaged my wounds. Gu Qinghan stood up and instructed me, "Stay here and wait. I'll be right back. Don't wander off." Seeing me nod in agreement, she finally felt at ease enough to leave. Back at the scene, Wu Yu and his men had already surrounded them. As for those guys, when they saw Gu Qinghan return, Wu Yu reported immediately, "As you ordered, miss." Not one of them got away. Gu Qinghan nodded with satisfaction. She walked up to the group of boys, her voice as cold as ice. "Who kicked him? Step forward yourself." The two who had kicked me immediately felt their legs go weak. They crawled forward, begging for mercy. "It was us. We really didn't know he was yours, miss." Gu Qinghan sneered. "So, you're saying this is still my fault?" The two of them shook their heads frantically. "It's our fault." Gu Qinghan glanced at Wu Yu, giving him a signal. Wu Yu smiled bitterly to himself. The big sis didn't want to get her hands dirty, so she made him her lackey again. He ordered his men to drag the two guys to a corner for a beating. Gu Qinghan's cold eyes turned toward Qi Yu. Qi Yu bowed his head in absolute silence. Gu Qinghan suddenly barked a command. "Everyone, get on your knees. Kneel all the way to the infirmary and apologize to Jiang Yichen." Everyone was shocked. One boy was the first to kneel. The others followed suit in a panic. Only Qi Yu stubbornly remained standing. He was secretly smug, thinking his family's group collaborated with the Gu Corporation, less than greater than, so Gu Qinghan would surely show him some respect. Less than greater than. At that moment, Gu Qinghan stepped up to him. "Less than greater than." She gave a cruel smile. "Don't want to kneel." "Less than greater than. Got a lot of backbone, do you? I wonder, when the Qi group collapses, if you'll still be so tough. Guess how long it'll take me to destroy your family's company." Qi Yu's entire body froze on the spot. He knew the Gu family's power all too well. Destroying a company was child's play for Gu Qinghan. Qi Yu immediately dropped to his knees. Without looking back, Gu Qinghan walked straight toward the infirmary. Behind her, over a dozen boys all knelt and followed in her wake. Inside the infirmary, the doctor was applying medicine to my wounds. Suddenly, urgent shouting came from outside the door. "Jiang Yichen, we're sorry. Please forgive us." While I was still puzzled, Gu Qinghan pushed the door open and entered. "Is it a serious injury?" The doctor replied hastily, "It's just some minor superficial wounds." Gu Qinghan reached out to help me up. "Let me show you something." From the balcony, I saw a row of people kneeling downstairs. Qi Yu was in the lead, kowtowing. The exaggerated scene left my jaw on the floor. Gu Qinghan smiled brightly and said, "Let them keep kneeling there. When you're no longer angry, only then will we let them go." I really couldn't take it. I took a step forward and shouted, "Fine, I forgive you all." But they continued to kowtow. Not until Gu Qinghan nodded did they dare to stop. Gu Qinghan pulled me back inside. "If you don't want to watch, then don't." The sports car sped into the underground garage. Gu Qinghan turned her head. She found I was already asleep.
What a pig.
Falling asleep just like that. On the sofa, Gu Qinghan stared blankly at my sleeping face. Her gaze unconsciously dropped to my lips. Gu Qinghan reached out, about to touch me. At that very moment, I suddenly shifted. Gu Qinghan backed away in a hurry. She bumped into the coffee table and nearly fell. Meanwhile, I just rolled over, smacked my lips, and went back to sleep. The room was terrifyingly quiet. She watched me for a long time. After confirming I wasn't awake, she leaned in again, intending to pinch my face. Suddenly, the phone in my pocket rang. I frowned at the sound of the ringtone. Gu Qinghan took the phone out of my pocket. After looking at it, her gaze turned icy instantly. Su Mushue. You even saved Su Mushue's number. She quickly hung up the call. Then she blocked the number and deleted it in one go. She tossed the phone onto the coffee table. She knelt down and pinched my nose. I frowned in my sleep. I rolled over uncomfortably. Finally, I opened my eyes groggily. What are you doing? Gu Qinghan pretended to look at the view. I asked, what are you doing sitting on the floor? Meditating? My face was full of suspicion. This excuse was way too absurd. Gu Qinghan stood up abruptly. None of your business. She tossed her long hair. If you're tired, go sleep in your room. With that, she slammed the study door shut. I rubbed my eyes. I dazedly watched her back as she left. Why is this girl so weird? I licked my dry lips. I was about to get off the sofa to find some water when the study door suddenly opened. Gu Qinghan walked out with an expressionless face. Let me borrow your phone for a second. Before I could react, she snatched the phone away. She turned and went back into the study. Gu Qinghan closed the door. She quickly deleted Su Muxue's call history. After clearing the history, she tucked the phone in her pocket and stepped out. Just as she saw me drinking water. I'm hungry, and there are only cookies in the house. There's nothing else to eat. I looked at her with reproachful eyes. Gu Qinghan frowned. If you're hungry, you'll have to wait. I can't just conjure up food. I'll order takeout for you now, okay? I deliberately made things difficult for her. Don't you even know how to cook noodles? Gu Qinghan sneered. This young lady hasn't even boiled water before. If you want to eat something I cooked, you better not be afraid of dying. I snatched my phone back. Then hurry up and order takeout. I want pizza, pasta, and roasted chicken wings. Tell them to deliver fast. I'm starving. I drank too much water and need to use the bathroom. I took my phone into the toilet and just sat down when the phone suddenly rang. I looked at the call screen awkwardly. It's an unknown number. Thinking it was a wrong number, I answered it anyway. A sweet voice came from the other end. Hello, Zhang Yichen, it's me. Su Muchue. I almost choked on my saliva. Why is it you? She asked what I was doing. Nothing much. Did you need something? Su Muchue paused for a moment. I called you earlier, but you hung up. I tried calling back, but it wouldn't go through. It's like I was blocked, but I didn't think you did it. I was startled. You called. When? 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, I was still asleep. I suddenly realized there was only one person beside me then. She must have done it. Seeing Su Muchue's call and hanging up and even blocking her. No wonder she acted so weird and snatched my phone earlier. Turns out it was to erase the evidence. Su Muchue, I'm sorry. My friend was just playing a joke. Su Muchue said gently, It's okay, I knew it wasn't you. I heard you were beaten up. Are you badly hurt? So she was looking for me in a hurry, because she was worried about me. My heart felt warm. It's not serious. I was originally going to find you at the gymnasium, but I got intercepted and beaten up halfway. Su Mushue's voice grew somber. I heard about it. I'm sorry. If I hadn't asked to meet you. I smiled wryly. How could I blame you? If anyone's to blame, it's Gu Qinghan. It's all because she's the source of that pack of obsessed admirers. Su Mushue asked softly, Are you really okay? I want to know the real situation. I laughed to reassure her. I'm really fine. Look, I can still talk and laugh. Su Mushue breathed a sigh of relief. That's good then. Suddenly, she turned serious. There's something I want to ask you. Is Gu Qinghan your girlfriend? I was stunned. I didn't expect her to ask that. She must have heard about today's incident. Gu Qinghan calling me husband in front of everyone. It surely spread all over the school. This is a bit awkward for me. Su Mushue said considerately, If you don't want to say, it's okay. I scratched my head, not knowing how to explain. Su Mushue tried a different question. And, do you like her? In a romantic way. I was instantly dazed. Of course not. We aren't in that kind of relationship. We're childhood friends, like family. But I've never thought of her romantically. Su Mushue's voice suddenly softened. Zhang Yichen, where are you? At home. Why? Can you come out to meet me for a bit? I thought for a moment. I'll be free after I finish eating. Su Mushue smiled and said, less than greater than.
Then let's meet at noon. Less than greater than. Before I could agree, less than greater than, there was a sudden thumping on the door. Less than greater than. Jan Yichin, what are you doing in there for so long? Less than greater than. Gu Qinghin's teasing voice drifted in from outside. My heart skipped a beat, terrified she'd find out I was talking to Su Mushue. I quickly lowered my voice. I'll contact you later. I hung up in a hurry and opened the door. Gu Qinghan had a mischievous smile on her face. I thought you'd fallen into the toilet. I snapped back irritably. You're the one who'd fall in. Get out of the way. I need to use the bathroom. She clutched her stomach. She really looked like she was in a hurry. After waiting for her to enter the bathroom, I immediately slipped out to the living room. After making sure the door was tightly shut, I secretly took out my phone. I quickly removed Su Mushue from the blacklist. Then I sent a message to explain. A reply came back almost instantly. Can we meet at noon? I know it's not convenient for you to come to school, so let's meet outside. I stared at the screen, hesitating. The takeout hadn't arrived yet. After eating, I'd have to find an excuse to slip away. It would be hard not to get caught by Gu Qinghan. I thought about it and replied, less than greater than. Can it wait until after school ends? Less than greater than. I received a reply almost immediately. Less than greater than. Just as I put down the phone, less than greater than. Gu Qinghan came out of the bathroom. Takeout was delivered soon after. Gu Qinghan had ordered many of my favorite dishes. As a foodie, I devoured everything immediately. Gu Qinghan, am not going to school this afternoon. Let me ask for leave. Say I'm badly injured and need to rest. It's the perfect excuse to take a few days off. Gu Qinghan leaned against the sofa. Fine, then I won't go either. I'll stay home with you. I instantly became tense. No need to stay with me. You should go to school. Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes suspiciously. So eager to kick me out? What are you trying to do behind my back? I stammered a denial. Nothing. I just don't want you to be late for class. Afraid of being questioned further, I hurried toward the study. I'll borrow your computer to play games for a bit. Gu Qinghan rushed over to block me. The study is my restricted zone. I had no choice but to turn back to the bedroom. I slammed the door shut. I threw myself onto the bed and soon fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, it was past 3 in the afternoon. Glancing at the quiet study, I wondered if Gu Qinghan was sleeping inside. I snuck toward the entrance door. Like a thief, I finished changing my shoes, closed the door softly, and successfully snuck out. Once outside, I quickly texted Su Mushue, I'm out. I dashed out of the apartment complex, hailed a taxi, and said, Sir, take me to. Go to Shangdi Academy. I completely failed to notice the study door suddenly swinging open. Gu Qinghan followed right behind. The cafe was filled with the rich aroma of coffee. I had just pushed the door open to enter. I already saw Su Mushue waving her hand. I sat down with a slight smile. Have you been waiting long? Su Mushu pushed the menu toward me. Do you want something to drink? I opened the menu. My eyes immediately widened. A single drink is over 100. I knew Su Mushu's family situation wasn't very good. I frowned and shook my head. It's too expensive. I won't have anything. Just then, the waiter brought 2 slices of strawberry cake. Please enjoy. Seeing the cake, my eyes lit up. But when I flipped to the price list, I almost cried out. 1 slice of cake is over 100. Everyone around us looked over. Su Mushu let out an embarrassed cough. I quickly put the menu down. I grabbed the glass of free lemon water. I'll just drink water. It's fine. Seeing that, Su Mushu didn't try to persuade me further. All I could think about was getting back quickly. If Gu Qinghan found out that I snuck out, it'd be dead. I anxiously asked Su Mushu, what exactly did you want to see me about? Su Mushu looked at me seriously. I heard you were surrounded and beaten by a group of boys. Your hand was injured and bleeding a lot. Some people even exaggerated and said you had internal injuries and were vomiting blood. I was stunned, is that all? I thought it was something major. Right at that moment, a loud shout suddenly erupted from the side, Jiang Yichen. My whole body froze. My first reaction was, it's over. Gu Qinghan has come to catch me red-handed. And right while I'm meeting Su Mushue, I tremblingly turned my head. Before I could even see who it was, I was pulled into a chokehold. It really is you. I thought I was seeing things. A familiar voice rang in my ear. Only then did I see the person clearly. Han Jingnian, what are you doing here? Let go of me. He put his hands on his hips and stared. I should be the one asking you that. When did you get back to the country? Why didn't you tell me? I gave a brief explanation. I transferred to Shangda. I'm not going back for now. Han Jingyan grabbed my shoulders. Really? You're not lying to me, are you? You've actually transferred to Shangda. I smiled and nodded. Of course it's real, it's great. Han Jingyan jumped up in excitement. We can see each other every day now. I suddenly remembered something. Oh, that's right. Where have you been running off to these past few days? I've been at school for several days, but I haven't seen you at all. Han Jingyan scratched his head sheepishly. My mom went to France for a fashion show. I went along for the trip. I sighed. I'm so jealous of you. Han Jingyan suddenly lowered his voice. So, does Gu Qinghan know you're back? At the mention of Gu Qinghan, I instinctively glanced at Su Muxue sitting opposite me. Han Jingyan finally noticed Su Muxue. Su Muxue, why are you with Yichen? His expression suddenly turned strange.
I quickly pushed him. You go first. He'll explain later. All right, Han Jingyan reluctantly stood up. Remember to answer my calls. I waited for him to get far away. I breathed a sigh of relief. Sorry about that. Su Muxue shook her head slightly. It's okay. She suddenly asked, that time you were angry outside the principal's office. Was it because of an argument with Gu Qinghan? Because of the guard being reinstated? I looked at her in surprise. How did you know? Su Muxue didn't answer. She just gave a small smile. One last question. I swallowed nervously. What is it? Su Muxue looked straight into my eyes. You two aren't actually dating, are you? She only said that to defend you, right? I nodded honestly. Yeah, it's just like that. As for the fact that Gu Qinghan and I are married, I didn't think it was necessary to mention it. After all, this marriage will end sooner or later. The fewer people who know, the better. Su Muxue suddenly laughed. I'm done asking, don't worry. I won't stop being your friend over this. I breathed a sigh of relief. I glanced at my watch. I have to go now. If I'm out for too long, Gu Qinghan will find out. Su Muxue insisted on paying. You can invite me to a movie next time. There's an American blockbuster coming out this weekend. All right, I agreed immediately. See you on Saturday. Having said that, I hurriedly ran outside. I didn't see Su Muxue's meaningful smile behind me. Back at the apartment, I stealthily opened the door. Just as I leaned down to change my shoes, I heard Gu Qinghan's cold voice. Where did you go? I froze in place. When did she notice I was missing? Gu Qinghan looked at me like a predator watching its prey. Half an hour ago. I quickly held up the bag. I just suddenly craved some afternoon tea. Gu Qinghan isn't easily fooled. Half an hour just to buy something? She stared at the store name on the plastic bag. I really did buy it on the way back. I stammered. I was passing by the shop and the aroma drew me in. I just picked some up on a whim. I met a samoyed on the way. Played with it for a bit before. Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes. I've never seen anyone around here with a samoyed. How big was it? What was its name? Was the owner male or female? A chill ran down my spine. Suddenly, I put on a serious face. Don't believe me then. I pretended to take back the snacks. She grabbed my wrist tightly. Your wound hasn't even healed, yet you're running around. Gu Qinghan's voice softened, but my phone suddenly rang. I guiltily glanced at Gu Qinghan. Right as I met her deep gaze, it was as if she could see through everything. The screen displayed Han Jingyan. Relieved, I showed her the screen. Gu Qinghan asked, why is he calling you? I pretended to go get water and stepped away quickly, afraid the call would reveal that we had met. Han Jingyan asked incessantly, Jiang Yichen, what exactly is your relationship with Su Muxue? Since when do you two know each other? Why were you having a date at a cafe? Do you like her too? I pulled the phone away from my ear, waited a few seconds before putting it back. Can you keep your voice down? I'm going deaf over here. Han Jingyan's voice choked up. Your ears are just deaf. My heart is about to shatter. I've liked her for so long. How could you steal her away? I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This time it was confirmed. He really does like Su Muxue, and not stealing anyone. I snuck into the bedroom, closed the door, and lowered my voice. The meeting today must be kept secret, especially don't let Gu Qingyan find out. Han Jingyan didn't understand why. He'll explain next time. Just remember what I said. The next morning, as soon as I arrived at school, I already felt a strange atmosphere. From the school gate to the teaching building, everyone was pointing at me. Passing by the bulletin board, Chu Mengyao came running over in a panic. Yichen, come look quickly, something major happened. The crowd automatically made a path when they saw me. I walked to the bulletin board, completely bewildered. In the photo, Su Muxue and I were at the cafe, smiling and talking happily. Someone had carefully edited it to look especially intimate. I clenched my fists. Who did this? Chu Mengyao handed me her phone. It's spreading across the forums and class groups. I could imagine the nasty things being said without even looking. Chu Mengyao lowered her voice. Ke Yu did it. After being expelled, he definitely holds a grudge. My temples throbbed. What I feared most wasn't Ke Yu, but it's... Yichen, what's wrong? Gu Qinghan's cold voice rang out from behind me. My whole body stiffened. I didn't dare turn around. Gu Qinghan, someone shouted gloatingly. You've been cheated on. Jiang Yichen and Su Muxue are up to no good. Gu Qinghan's brow furrowed deeply. Her gaze swept over the bulletin board. Her face instantly froze. Her eyes stopped at the date on the photo. Her pupils contracted sharply. You lied to me. Her voice was laced with ice. I panicked. Let me explain. The evidence is clear. There's no way to argue against it. Gu Qinghan rushed forward and ripped the photo off the board. She tore it into shreds and threw them at me. Go on, fabricate it. What lie are you going to use to deceive me this time? Why have you stopped talking? She suddenly kicked over a nearby trash can. If you don't want to explain, then just stay silent forever. With that, she turned and left. I hurriedly wanted to chase after her. Xu Mengyao held Gu Qinghan back. Don't go. She's in a fit of rage. If you go, you'll only make things worse. Wait until school is out to figure it out. The school bell rang. My mind was in a mess. I could only return to class first. During PE class, I sat on the steps, spacing out, hesitating whether to go look for Gu Qinghan. Suddenly, a volleyball hit me in the head. A boy gave a perfunctory apology. Sorry. He picked up the ball and just left. I was just rubbing my head when another ball came flying. This time it was harder. Chu Mengyao rushed over. She pointed at the boy and shouted, You definitely did that on purpose. I closed my eyes. My face turned pale. Clearly, the volleyball hit wasn't light. Chu Mengyao glanced at the volleyball. Then she glared at the group of boys. A few boys who were playing ball surrounded us. They feigned an apology. Sorry about that. Who told you to sit by the court like a block of wood? Don't you know how to dodge? Chu Mengyao gave a cold laugh. She grabbed the volleyball and threw it straight at the boy. It hit him right on the forehead. The boy was knocked down and fell onto his buttocks. The people around began to criticize. Jiang Yichen, why did you hit him? Don't think Gu Qinghan is still protecting you. She already knows your true nature now. You've been abandoned. Chu Mengyao pulled me back. She noticed my complexion was getting worse. What's wrong? Do you feel very unwell? Let me take you to the infirmary. I forced a shake of my head. I'm fine, don't worry. At that moment, a girl brought over her phone. I recorded the whole process. They threw it at you on purpose. Chu Mengyao took the phone. We watched a video over 10 minutes long. The image clearly recorded the moment I was hit. Chu Mengyao shouted angrily, Apologize. A few boys looked at each other. Some were intimidated. They were about to bow and apologize. Suddenly, one boy blocked them. Apologize for what? If we threw it, we threw it. He no longer has Gu Qinghan's protection. What are we afraid of? Even though Chu Mengyao is from a wealthy family, in Class S, everyone is from a rich family. That provocative boy's family background is on par with hers. He fundamentally isn't afraid of her. I was intensely dizzy, too tired to argue. I waved them off. Just let it go. Chu Mengyao swept her gaze over the onlookers. Yichen, your face looks terrible. Let me take you to the infirmary. This time I didn't refuse. The bright sunlight made my vision darken. I involuntarily leaned against her. Chu Mengyao quickly supported my shoulders. A cool breeze blew into the infirmary. The familiar hospital bed made me remember the last time. The scene where Gu Qinghan stepped up to defend me. Suddenly, I missed her so much. Is she still angry? Han Jingyan's voice suddenly rang out. Yichen, your face looks terrible. Where does it hurt? I smiled bitterly. Hit in the head by a ball, feeling a bit dizzy. Han Jingyan said sympathetically, You're really out of luck. I didn't have the strength to explain. Just let me have some peace for a moment. A few minutes later, the doctor told Chu Mengyao to give me some glucose. Don't attend classes this morning. I'll write you a sick note. Be more careful next time. I nodded in thanks. Suddenly, my stomach growled. Chu Mengyao laughed and said, I'll go buy some food. Over 10 minutes later, Chu Mengyao carried a plastic bag back into the ward. When I opened my eyes, she was arranging the food items on the bedside table. Bought you a sandwich and some yogurt. If you don't like it, I'll go buy something else. I sat up immediately. Han Jingyan jumped over from the adjacent bed at the same time. He snatched the sandwich and stuffed it into his mouth. I lunged forward to grab it back. Give it back. The patient gets priority, understand? Chu Mengyao looked on in a daze as we fooled around.
Her gaze lingered on Han Jingyan for a few more seconds. Young Master Han was actually this close to me. She finally couldn't help but ask, "Are you two good friends?" Han Jingyan put his arm around my shoulder. We've known each other since we were in diapers, but Gu Qinghan is even closer to him. They've known each other since birth, true childhood sweethearts. Chu Menyao's pupils contracted sharply. The yogurt cup in her hand almost fell to the floor. Chu Menyao's expression looked a bit pained. So that's how it is. No wonder Gu Qinghan pays so much attention to me. Thinking back to what she just said to the girls, now it seems it was all the truth.
She suddenly really wanted those boys to know. Their faces when they find out about my relationship with Gu Qingyan. It will surely be very interesting. Originally, Chu Menyao planned to stay by my side, but since Han Jingnian was here, she had to return to class first. "He'll come check on you after school." When she left, she was clearly a bit disappointed. Han Jingnian's face was full of curiosity. "See that? She heard about you and Gu Qingyan. She looks like she's going through a breakup." I glared at him. "Don't talk nonsense. We're just friends. In the office." Gu Qingyan lazily leaned against the sofa. Staring at her phone, she would occasionally smile. Han Jingyan stealthily pushed the door open. "Miss Gu, had an argument with Yichin." Gu Qingyan looked up. "Who gave you permission to just walk in?" "Don't be like that. I'm here as a mediator." Han Jingyan leaned in, wanting to see her phone. Gu Qinghan quickly moved the screen away. "It's just because of that photo of him with Su Mushue. I was also there that day. There was absolutely nothing going on." After saying it, Han Jingyan remembered he had to keep it secret. He regretfully slapped his own mouth. Yichin said it himself. He only sees Su Mushue as a friend. He even encouraged me to pursue her. Hearing these words, Gu Qinghan's expression visibly softened. "Really?" Han Jingyan nodded vigorously. "Of course." After listening to him, her expression clearly calmed down a lot. "Then why did he meet Su Mushue in secret and lied to me saying he didn't meet her?" Han Jingyan shrugged. "They were just talking. As for exactly what they said, I don't know." Gu Qinghan's mood clearly improved. She muttered softly, "I really don't understand why Yichin had to lie to me." Han Jingyan raised an eyebrow. "Can you really blame him? You and Su Mushue have history." "With your temper, would he have been able to go if you knew?" Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes. Han Jingyan saw and understood immediately. "Hurry to the infirmary and see him. Go make up." Han Jingyan finished and was about to leave. Gu Qinghan frowned. "Is he in the infirmary? Did you lead him to skip class and sleep again?" Han Jingyan pointed at her phone. "It's not like that. Haven't you already watched it?" Only then did Gu Qinghan notice the video. He was hit by a ball. Almost got a concussion. He's still resting now. Gu Qinghan's expression changed abruptly. "What?" Before Han Jingyan could finish, she rushed out. The infirmary was completely empty. Gu Qinghan frowned, suspecting she was being fooled. She happened to run into the doctor. She grabbed him. "Where is Jiang Yichin? Didn't they say he was resting here?" "Doc." The doctor recognized her. He answered hurriedly. "The boy who was hit by the ball?" Gu Qinghan's heart tightened. It seems it's true. How did that idiot get hit by a ball? Gu Qinghan pressed for more. Is he badly injured? Where did he go? The doctor stood nervously before Gu Qinghan. He had long ago heard of this young Miss Temper. At Shangdi Academy, her word is law. He was afraid of saying even one word wrong. "That student is fine. Only some minor scratches. Some rest will fix it," the doctor answered carefully. Gu Qinghan impatiently interrupted. "Where is he? Can you just say it already?" The doctor wiped his sweat. "He left not long ago. His girlfriend came to pick him up." "Girlfriend?" Gu Qinghan's brow furrowed tightly. The surrounding air temperature immediately dropped. The doctor involuntarily took half a step back. She suddenly remembered the first day of his transfer. She had seen me with a girl in the canteen. Could it be that same girl? As she turned to leave, Gu Qinghan suddenly stopped. "Listen carefully. He belongs to me." Leaving the infirmary, she finally remembered to call me. As soon as I answered, she heard my happy voice. "Qinghan, you're not angry anymore." She gave a light huff. "You're such an idiot," I said aggrievedly. "Why are you calling me names? I can explain." Gu Qinghan asked as she walked. "Less nonsense. Where are you right now?" The moment she looked up, she saw me not far away. "Stay right there, don't move." Saying that, she ran quickly toward me. I stood there in a daze. "Qinghan, how did you?" Before I could finish my sentence, Gu Qinghan was already staring at Chu Mengyao, who was holding my arm. "Do you want me to chop off your hand? Are you going to let go, or what?" Chu Mengyao's expression changed slightly. She reluctantly let go. Gu Qinghan pulled me close to her. "You're unwell, and yet you're running around." She looked in the direction I was originally heading. It was the 11th grade building. She understood immediately. Zhang Yichen, are you stupid? Her gaze swept toward Chu Mengyao nearby. Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes. She smiled and asked, "Is this your girlfriend?" She smiled and asked, "Is this your?" She usually looks after me. Gu Qinghan caught Chu Mengyao's eyes darkening for a moment. A smug smile curled her lip. "I'll believe you for now. Let's go. Go back and rest." I turned to apologize to Chu Mengyao. "Go back to class first." Chu Mengyao forced a smile. "Yi Chen, no need to be so polite." She then said to Gu Qinghan, "Please take good care of him." Gu Qinghan instantly flared up. "Since when do you get to interfere in our business? Who the hell do you think you are?" Without waiting for me to say goodbye,
She grabbed me and dragged me away immediately. Chu Mengyao stood frozen, her eyes unexpectedly darkening with gloom.